And we are live. How's everybody doing tonight? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and you're watching and/or listening to ABL Live. Thank y'all for joining me tonight. You could be almost anywhere in the world, but you're right here with me live in the show, and I appreciate y'all for that. We got a whole lot going on all over the internets, all over mainstream media, social media, everywhere. And where do I start? The Hunter Biden laptop. Boy, oh boy. If you can imagine how triggered, I'm talking about beyond triggered, that I was when I saw that story come across my timeline. Oh my goodness. We're going to get into that. We shall get into it. Also, Lia, quote unquote, Lia Thomas, formerly known as William Thomas, winning the 500 free NCAA Championship and for the women, not for the men, like quote unquote Lia was just 2 or 3 years ago, but for the women. We'll talk about that. Also, we got another Black Lives Matter scammer. It's kind of redundant to say Black Lives Matter scammer. That kind of goes hand in hand, right? Black Lives Matter and scamming. Well, we got another one, this time in Boston, getting their hair done, nails done, everything did on donation money. We'll talk about that in a minute. Also, Jussie Smollett is out of the clink, at least for now, after doing only about, 4 or 5 days out of a 5-month sentence. We'll talk about that as well. And we got quite a few videos, talk about quite a few little things that have happened on the internet that we got to get into. I got to give you guys my opinion on it. And we got a whole lot more than that. And thank y'all again for being here on tonight's episode of ABL Live. And thank you. Couldn't do it without you. You guys are the best audience anywhere. And if you enjoy what you have heard thus far, please give the video a thumbs up, like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. If you're listening to me on your favorite audio streaming platform, whether it be Spotify, Google, Stitcher, Anchor, Apple iTunes, etc., please give the video or the audio, pardon me, a 5-star rating, a review, whatever you can. I'd appreciate it. And if you don't know, this is a podcast being recorded live. The audio only version will be available right around 8 a.m. tomorrow morning. That's usually the way it is for every show we do. I put up the audio 8 a.m. the next morning, totally 100% free. Just check me out wherever you listen to your podcast the best. I think Apple iTunes is my top view location. So shout out to all the iTuners, the Spotifyers, the Google Play, whatever you do. Thank you. Couldn't do it without you. And shout out to my sponsors, of course. We got the flag guys, bhedesigns.com. That is BHEDESIGNS.com. Check them out right now. Links will be in the description. Also, go to patriotpost.us, the best source of news and information anywhere on the internet. Links will be in the box. Check them on out. Been around 25 plus years. You got to love them. Also, shout out to me, ablmerch.com. That's ablmerch.com. I just ordered some new merch because I got to stock some things. I got some brand new hats that you're going to like. These are going to be different. Okay, I say give it about 2 weeks, they'll be here. They're going to be a little bit different. See, these hats right here, I got some more of these coming too. I got some more of these in stock coming real soon. And I got some other ones where it's not quite a trucker or a fitted. You got to see it, and it's going to be hot. I don't want to give it away, but you're going to like it when you see it. We'll see how those do. But again, ABL merch, ablmerch.co. Check it out right now. And of course, go to my regular website, anthonyblogan.com. I write an article for every video that I produce. So whenever I put anything out and you see in the bottom where it says continue reading sources, always click that link because it'll be a full article with sources. So when somebody tries to challenge you and says, hey, man, where'd you get that from? Did you get it from that YouTuber guy, that guy with the hats? Did you get it from him? It'd be like, yeah, but check it out. He has a whole source from all over the place, from left, right, independent, whatever. It's all right there on the website, anthonyblogan.com. Check it out now. Articles are right there. Also, go to the contact page if you want to get my email address, my snail mail address, my P.O. box, and also my social media links, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. All that's right there on the website, anthonyblogan.com. Check it out now. Now, let's go ahead and get to it. Oh, and you guys missed the chat last time. Okay, I tried something new. I was like, you know what? I'm going to just have the straight across screen. And my thought process was I might want to clip some of these and do a video by themselves. So I want to have it be clear like that. But you guys missed the chat because I'm not thinking that some of you guys watch it on television, or you watching it to where you can't see the live chat that's always embedded. So I put it right here. I had to return it because I got some emails, like angry emails. I now never watch you again. I was like, wait a minute. I'm sorry. I made it. I was just trying something new, but the chat is back. So, and you know what? When I saw the video, when I saw it back a little bit, I was like, I do miss the chat being right there on the screen. I was like, all right, let's go ahead and get that going. So the chat's back, and we're going, and I see it. See now, I see it coming right there. I'm a hat grifter. Everything is a grifter, right? If I was selling bottled water in the basketball tournament, they call me a water grifter. Meanwhile, you got guys dying of thirst. It's like people want it, they need it. I'm just, I like wearing the hats. You might like them too. But anyway, so yeah, the chat is back. Now, let's go ahead and get into, and also, this will be on BitChute after it's done. After it's done uploading, everything that I post on the on this YouTube page will go to BitChute. That includes the regular pre-recorded videos and also the live streams. But I can't live stream on BitChute, so the finished video after it's done will be on BitChute.com. You can also catch it audio only wherever you listen to audio streaming services, 400% free. Everything's free. All right, just to make that clear. Now, what are we going to get into first? There's quite a few things here. I think I'm going to start with, wow, these are some good topics that I covered that I want to talk about a little bit more. Let's talk about the Boston Black Lives Matter scammer, because I got to get into the Hunter Biden laptop. I need more time to breathe on the Hunter laptop and quote unquote Lia Thomas. So let's talk about the Boston Black Lives Matter scammer. Now, this is something that is all too common. It happens so frequently, I'm not even surprised anymore. Not in the least bit. So we have a scammer by the name of Monica Cannon Grant. Now, what she decided to do was start this group called Violence in Boston. And it's like a Black Lives Matter group. You can see her talking with Black Lives Matter earrings and Black Lives Matter t-shirts. Another typical Black Lives Matter, hands up, don't shoot, I can't breathe type person. So she has a group, a so-called nonprofit, and there's a bunch of money that was given to these groups. Now, this was a whole big wave back, I say, in 2020, 2021. There was a lot of money being given to these groups, a whole lot of money. After George Floyd, they said that it was like $10.6 billion raised to all these different groups. Not only to Black Lives Matter, but also to the other groups. Now, some of these groups were able to scam efficiently and without much legal problems, or I would say with few legal problems. BLM, the founder or the co-founder, Patrisse Cullors, has a big real estate portfolio, $3.4 million. And she said, well, the money didn't come from Black Lives Matter. It did not come from donation money. But what it came from is from what I was already doing. I was already an artist. It's like, okay, I can call myself an artist, but if I've painted 2 paintings in my whole life and I've not sold them, then all of a sudden I become a multimillionaire off of art. Maybe there's a contributing factor to that. Maybe it's because I all of a sudden became very popular in this social activism movement. And then I started a group called Black Lives Matter. And that contributed to my artwork and other things going up in value. Therefore, I'm able to make money off of that. Okay. And also through indirect donation money being given to me. Okay, here's a consulting company I have. And then the Black Lives Matter group pays that company for consulting, but it's really me and I get the money in my pocket. That's the oldest trick in the book. Ilhan Omar did that. Do you guys remember I covered Ilhan Omar? She's been married technically twice, but really 3 times. Let's talk about her right quick, because it's important to understand other scammers, how they've been able to get away with it. And this is not a how-to on this, because I think the reason why Ilhan Omar has gotten away with it and people like Patrisse Cullors are kind of and by the way, Patrisse Cullors is kind of being watched right now by the federales because they don't know where the money's going. The person that's supposed to be in charge of the money is not in charge of the money anymore. So she might get in trouble. But for right now, she's okay. But Ilhan Omar is able to be okay because of who she is. Okay, you in office, you're in the federal government, you can pretty much do what you want within reason, right? What Ilhan Omar did was she was married in an Islamic wedding, but not officially, to her actual husband that she had for like 20 years, and they got 3 kids. That's her actual husband, right? Now, while she was with the actual husband that she was not married to legally, she gets married to somebody else that is allegedly her brother. And the reason why she did that is because her brother was living in London. Because remember, let's go back to Ilhan Omar's childhood. She's an actual refugee from, I think, Somalia. Like, she's a real refugee from Somalia. She was in Kenya for about 4 years, living in a refugee camp. She goes from the camp to America. Half of the family go to UK. She was rescued by a Christian organization. I think they might have been Lutheran. She's rescued by them. Half of them go to US, other half go to UK. Now, the person she got married to is a UK citizen, or at least was. So she gets married to that person. They come to America and go to school right there close to Minneapolis in North Dakota. So that's what that appears to be. The name of the person that she got married to was her former name. The Omar name, that got changed from what it was in Somalia. The name that the other guy had was her original surname. I forget what it was, but you guys probably know. I think it was Nur Saeed, Nursaid, Nur Saeed. So that was a citizenship play for him to get over from the UK to the US. That's what that was, allegedly. Then she got married again to this white guy by the name of Tim Minette. Now, I don't care if you marry interracially, do whatever you want. That's your business. But the problem is people like Ilhan Omar and AOC talk about how bad the white man is, how dangerous the white man is. Meanwhile, they are married to or are with white men. Make that make sense. Same thing with Don Lemon. Talking about how bad the white man is. He's the most dangerous on earth. Meanwhile, you're married to a whole white man, Don Lemon. How does that really work? I don't understand, but I'll move on. So she gets married to Tim Minette. Now, Tim Minette is a consultant. 70% of Ilhan Omar's campaign money went to Tim Minette's consulting company. 70%. So if the money comes in for Ilhan Omar through donations to her campaign, and the campaign pays the consulting company, where does that money go from that company if the guy that leads the consulting company is married to Ilhan Omar? Where's that going? Right back to Ilhan Omar. The reason why he's getting all this money is because of Ilhan Omar. That's her money being routed through him. That's what's going on. Okay, it's really crazy that she broke up her whole family over that, but that's exactly what happened. Got divorced from her actual husband, married to her brother for international, for green card purposes, and then gets married to this guy with a company. So she's able to route that money she's getting from the campaign through him legally. That's how a lot of them do it. I've seen some guys start a company themselves, a consulting company, and they pay themselves straight from their campaign directly. I've seen that go on as well. But see, going back to Monica Cannon Grant, she didn't do that. What she did was to straight take money from the company allegedly and spend it. Getting their hair did, nails did, everything did. Out to eat, shopping, Amazon, all that stuff. And they also claimed pandemic hardship. That is ridiculously dumb because check it out. If you get money from a donor and spend it kind of funny, that's one thing. You know, it needs to be an investigation to see what's going on, to see where the money came from, how it's being spent, you know, an audit perhaps into your books by the federales to see what's happening. But with the pandemic fraud, there's no point in doing all that. You getting the money straight from the government. That's like going to the IRS and frauding them. It's the same thing. They have the same resources and the same ability to track what you're doing. They can go in your accounts and your banking account, checking your savings, your PayPal, Venmo, all of that, and see what's going on. Okay, I'm getting 1099Ks from PayPal for personal money. Okay, somebody sends you $5 for a birthday gift, and they reporting that to the federales. They know where all your money's coming from. So if you get money straight from the federal government for pandemic relief and you spend that on a house fraudulently, lying on your forms, that's called fraud. You're going to the penitentiary. Spending money from a charity that is intended for a certain purpose on yourself, that's called fraud too. Now, some are going to say, well, you could spend a certain amount of money of a charity's funds on overhead expenses, that type of stuff, salary. That's different than if you get a grant. If you get a grant straight for one thing, like let's say, for example, you get a grant for children's homelessness. It's like $8,000 and you spend that on getting your hair done and nails done. I mean, at a certain point, that's called fraud. You took the money for one specific reason and you didn't wind up using the money for that purpose. You're going to the penitentiary, sir or ma'am, whatever you want to, whatever your gender pronouns are, Sam, it, Zir, Zim, Zer, Z. You're going away. That's called fraud. So that's what this person did. Cannon Grant is what they did. They took the money and spent it on whatever, which is totally dumb because they're going to find out. Pandemic money. I've seen so many guys get locked up behind the pandemic money. It's ridiculous. Okay. And right when the money came out, this is how I know people don't watch the news. Really, they don't really pay attention. You guys know what's going on, but a lot of your normies have no clue what's happening. They don't watch the news. When the pandemic money first was announced, they went on TV and said, if anyone tries to fraud the program, you're going to get audited. Matter of fact, it's going to be automatic audits. We're not even going to play around. There's going to be fraud. We know that. We're going to automatically audit you and see where the money is going. So if you take that money and just spend it, I mean, you're asking to go to the penitentiary. You're asking to go. And nobody could say, oh, it's entrapment, all this and that. No. You were told from the beginning what it would be. You were told that if you took that money and you try to engage in some fraud, oh, it's going to be a wrap. You're going to the who's good, to the pokey, to the penitentiary. You were told that from the very beginning. So I have no sympathy for anybody that goes. Now, the house that this lady bought was kind of raggedy. It's like, look, you spent $450 on a bando, basically. I mean, if I'm going to spend that much money on a house, I want it to look like something. Your house looks like it could fall over at any point in time. Okay. Matter of fact, I gotta find that I gotta find that house. It was crazy. And that house got raided, of course, by the feds because they know what you're doing. They look, if you take that money and go through the banking system and try to buy a house with it, put a down payment or whatever, they're going to know. Put it to you like this. I was asking about buying a house before. And one thing I asked was, but you know, as far as like down payments, this is like way back in the day when I was a young man. This might have been like 2010, 2011. But I was asking the real estate agent about, could I get a loan to put money on a house for the down payment? They was like, no, you can't do that. You got to have liquid cash. You cannot get a loan for a down payment. How they going to find out? That the federales, they know what's going on. You get loan money in your account. They can see what's going on with it. They know where it's going. They know where you're getting it from. They're going to get you. You're going away. You can't do that. You can't, in the way of getting a house, you can't purchase debt for debt. If I'm wrong about that, let me know in the comments. But they can find out what you're doing. And they did. They raided that house. Matter of fact, hold on. I'm going to find that house. I promise I am. Yeah, the chat is back, Matt. The chat is back. I got some feedback, and I brought the chat back for sure. Let me find that house that she bought. I know I have it on a video. If I can't find the article or just a picture, I'll put the video up and just skip to where it's at in the video. Okay. Matter of fact, yeah, let's put the video up right quick. And actually, here it is. It's not really a good picture, but it'll do nonetheless. It shall do. You're able to get the general gist of it, right? Let's put it on the screen right quick. And we're going to see what's happening here. Shout out to dailymail.uk, .co.uk. All right, I'm messing up already. There we go. So that's her right there. You know, face scrunched up, ready for war, ready for battle. Ready to go out there and fight the white supremacists, all that kind of good stuff, right? Part in the picture down here. This is just something from Daily Mail. See if I click that out. There we go. And then that's her with the crazy outfit. You go from Black Lives Matter to Fried That Chicken. So the mask with all the kind of little stuff on. I can't breathe. You can't breathe because you got a mask on. You're blocking your airway. That's her again. Okay, could have got weight loss surgery, but that's a different story. So that's the house right there. I mean, you paying $500,000 for that almost. That's kind of high. But you are in Boston. Know it's a crazy house market. Like you're making dumb decisions. Why would you buy a house like that right now in this crazy market? Okay, got a nice big flat screen TV. The angle is kind of weird, or that flat screen is like humongous. I'm talking about width-wise. A super wide flat screen TV on the wall. That thing is like 2 flat screens together side by side. It's crazy. That's a little bit weird. Or it could be a weird angle or a weird lens. I'm not sure what's happening. Taunton, so is that where it is? Nicole, Taunton, Massachusetts, bottom of the barrel. Man, them house prices out there kind of crazy. So, okay, I guess she has like a link tree, and there's some prices in the link tree, real ghetto. So it says pay Black women, right? $50 will get you a personalized message video for 1 minute. $900 speaking forum. $1,500 for an appearance. It's not too bad for prices. Not too bad. Okay, not that's not really bad at all. But who is she really though? A scammer. It's pretty crazy. All on the backs of dead Black men. Okay, so let's go back a little bit. First is pay Black women, right? Black women rock. Black girls rock. Black women is Black women. It's all about Black women. But then the reason why you got to where you are right now is because all these Black men is dead. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 dead Black men, 1 dead Black woman. But it's all about paid Black women. And the reason why she is dead, Breonna Taylor, is because of a Black man that shot at the police. But whatever, it is what it is. So that house ain't really worth it. Going to the penitentiary for stealing some money from her charity ain't really worth it. Stealing money from the federal government, I mean, you're the dumbest person in the world. You might as well go to the bank and rob that bareface, no mask, no pistol, to say, hey, man, give me the money. I'm on candid camera. Look at me. Giving your name and your address and all of that and tell them where to come find you. You might as well do that because it's the same thing dealing with the federales, okay? You just don't want to do it. Just do things the right way. If you don't have a lot of money, just figure out a way. And you know what? She could have still run her organization, her charity, but what she got caught up in was the luxury lifestyle, all right? Trying to be Instagram cool, trying to be going on vacations, going to the Bahamas, jet set, and all that kind of stuff. Too much flossing, too much Sam Rothstein in casino. Trying to be out there in the public, trying to be out in front. For what? Why? I don't agree with the politics of a BLM, but you can still run that kind of organization without getting involved in the scamming and the fraud. It's ridiculous. And there's a lot of that scamming and fraud going on today. Okay, people that are pretending to be what they're not. Sean King, a.k.a. Talcum X, pretending to be a Black man, really a whole white man, getting money that way. Guys going on television talking about all kind of crazy stuff. Putin, that's the whole thing. It's so weird because the hatred for Russians and Russia is crazy when you combine it with the love outpouring for Ukraine and Ukrainians. They are the same people, believe it or not. Kiev and Rus is the same area, the same people. Belarus, Ukraine, Russia is the same thing. It's not no different. It's just like saying one part of Mexico is a whole different world than another part. Or if you're from Guatemala, you're a whole different people than those in Honduras or close to Guatemala and Mexico on the border. It's the same people. It's the same people. There's no difference. Different country, different geographical border, but it's the same people. It's so silly. It's so silly. Kiev and Rus, like Moscow, all of that was in Kiev and Rus. Like the empire, the little group. It went from Kiev and parts of Lithuania, Belarus, Poland. It's all the same people. All the Slavics, they're all the same. But the media act like it's night and day, black and white, oil and water, and it's not. They speak the same language half the time. Ukrainian is like an offshoot Russian. It's like Portuguese and Spanish. It's the same people. And then also, there was fighting going on in Ukraine from Ukrainians to other Ukrainians who spoke Russian in the far eastern provinces. But when somebody comes to help them, then that's a bad thing. But when they're just getting attacked, but it's, I'm getting triggered, so I'm gonna just go ahead and park it right there. The whole point is that the whole Ukraine thing is ridiculous. I'm kind of getting tired of it. This guy Zelensky, I don't know what his deal is. I don't know what they're doing, or where, I don't know where he's at, really. Is he even in Ukraine anymore? I saw this video, I put it on the screen right quick, of him recently, another video wearing his regular clothes. I'm not sure why he's not wearing a suit. I mean, is it impossible for him to find a suit? He looks well groomed. I don't see no 5 o'clock shadow or nothing crazy like that. He looks like he's doing pretty well as far as, you know, just how he presents himself, but there's no suit at all anywhere. Why? It's part of a campaign, in my opinion, to make him look more human and more appealing and more likable. So here's a video. Now, this one is interesting because Reuters posted the same video. They didn't put the very beginning of it in there. They clipped the very first second or two of this video to make it be a little bit different than what it is. Now, look closely at the video to see what's wrong with it. Just look very closely and see what's wrong with it at the very beginning. Check it out. No sound. Did you see that? Just one more time. He's walking up, but the picture behind him has a road or some kind of paved walkway that goes down. You see what I'm saying? And it appears to be a static picture, not an actual moving background. This is a green screen. Why? What's the purpose? Okay, you look like you're doing pretty well with your grooming, you're bathing, you're eating, you're showering, but why are you in front of a green screen? I don't understand. Why not just show like a white wall or something? It wouldn't be no big deal. You've been in front of a white wall before. Why a green screen now? And again, Reuters didn't show that very first part where you could see him walking up. They didn't show that part right there. All they showed was just like right here, was already standing right there. What's the point in editing 1 second out of a video? Why? There's no reason. There's no curse words or anything sensitive that's being shown on the screen. So what's the point in doing that? The reason why they did that is because they don't want you to know it's a green screen. The propaganda behind this whole thing is real. The propaganda is crazy. And propaganda, speaking about that right quick, I'm going to do a quick pivot away from Ukraine to more propaganda that I've seen. The Ukraine stuff, before I continue off of Ukraine, the ghost to Kiev, remember that whole story? That was fake. Snake Island, that was fake. There's been so many fake stories I can't even keep count. It's crazy. It's totally crazy. So here's the next thing, right? Hold on. I got a couple pictures here I want to show you guys. So here's one. Okay. So a space conference censored the name of the first human in space because he was Russian. Okay, Yuri Gagarin. He's very popular in Ukraine. As a matter of fact, he's so popular, he's on actual currency out there in Ukraine. This is what I'm talking about. Ukraine and Russia, I mean, they're the same people. But they wouldn't censor him because he's Russian. This is called xenophobia. Why are you going to try to alter history or obfuscate history because of the nationality? What's that got to do with it? If they made history regardless of what. It doesn't matter where they came from or who they were. They made history. The first person in space, why can't that be known? Why must their name be censored? Because they're Russian. This is a real story. True, I saw the source and everything. This is a real thing. Okay? And again, he's popular in Ukraine and on money in Ukraine, but because he's Russian, that's somehow a problem, right? Now, more propaganda, more here is Stacey Abrams. Now, I would play the video, but they're going to try to strike me and whatnot because it's from the new Star Trek. Shout out to all the Star Trek fans. This is not obviously the real Star Trek. This is a new spin on Star Trek. This is Stacey Abrams. Yes, that's Stacey Abrams. Uh, the failed governor candidate in Georgia, she was on an episode of Star Trek as a quote president of United Earth. So really, the president of the whole world. So you couldn't become the governor of Georgia, right? You couldn't become the governor of Georgia. You failed at that. You got stomped in by Brian Kemp. That didn't work. You ran an anti-gun campaign in Georgia where everybody has a gun. Even the black women got pistols and they go to the range and they shoot in Georgia. In Atlanta, Buckhead, they go into the shooting range and they're letting it off. And that's facts. So an anti-gun campaign in Georgia is dumb. You're running on a national campaign in a local place that does not like the national ridiculous stuff. Not even the so-called minority, BIPOC, whatever you want to call them. The president of United Earth is propaganda. What are they trying to do? They're trying to make her be likable. They're trying to put her in pop culture. They're trying to get you to recognize her as a leader. But we're just not prepared for that. Look, I don't want to be a shallow person, so please don't take it that way. Don't misunderstand me. But looks matter. First of all, looks matter when it comes to being the president. Okay? Looks most certainly matter. There's almost never a president below 6 foot tall. The last one was Carter, and before him, I don't know who it was. Joe Biden's about 6 foot, Trump 6'3", Obama 6'1", Slick Willie is 6'2", 6'3". I think W was like 5'11", 6 foot. Same thing for his daddy. Reagan, another one, about 6'2", 6'3". And they don't look real big. Okay, Trump was not necessarily Mr. Olympia, but he wasn't no big, fat, gigantic slob. He wasn't 800 pounds in the wheelchair or nothing like that. You understand what I'm saying? Now, and the race thing is less important than your physical appearance. Obama, smooth guy. The women loved him. Even a guy like Trudeau. This is the reason why Trudeau is in office, because women love him. Okay, he does not look sick or slovenly. So Stacey Abrams, on looks alone, has no chance. No chance. And you went on an anti-gun campaign in Georgia? No chance. You want to try to become the president? Kamala Harris looks much better than Stacey Abrams. They're both incompetent politically, in my opinion. But she looks much better. Now, how did Kamala Harris poll throughout the presidential, the primaries in 2020? 0%. Even Buttigieg did better than Kamala. And we're not ready for a gay president with a first gentleman. We're not ready for that at all. Black, white, candy stripe, it doesn't matter. We're not ready for that at all. A black president, we've done it before, ain't no big deal. A woman, I don't know. But unattractive, male or female, if you look crazy, it ain't going to work. Point blank, period. Get on a diet and tighten up. You might have a little bit of a chance. Now, I think what's happening, in my opinion, they, meaning the establishment, they see her like an Oprah, right? Let's go back to the screen. We got the point on that one. They see her like Oprah. So all they got to do is just put her out there, put some money behind her, and then she'll succeed like Oprah succeeded in daytime TV. Now, does it make sense to say something like that? No, it doesn't. But you got to understand, these people are morons. These people in politics in D.C., they're morons. They don't leave D.C. They're in that bubble, and they think things like that make sense, and they don't. They spend a bunch of money on it, and it doesn't go anywhere. Okay? It doesn't go anywhere because they're dumb like that. This is why we do things overseas that make no sense. This is why when Zelensky says, okay, we need some air defense, and can you guys bring it in the United States? You get a round of applause from the whole Congress. Meanwhile, we know that'll start World War III. Why would anybody be clapping for World War III? It's because they're dumb. They're morons. Okay? A lot of us that are right here, right now in this chat could do better in the country than they can, but there's a whole big machine behind it. That's the problem. You got to break through the machine to be able to get through. Trump did it, and look at how he was treated from the beginning, before he got into office, when he was running, from the beginning to the end, even now. Look at how he's treated. Impeached twice, lied on, spied on, all that stuff, because he was able to break through the machine and have some success. That's what's going on. So, voting really matters locally, especially because You can do some things locally to impact your life, but the federal government, that's a much harder case to crack, for sure. But yeah, the propaganda is real. You seeing all this Ukraine on TV. And my question is, why we gotta take Ukraine's side on this situation? Why take any side on this? There's plenty of wars happening right now all over the world. Why take Ukraine's side on this particular thing here? How is that going to help the United States at all? Why would it benefit us? And why is it a good thing to do? Why is it the moral thing to do? For what reason? Why is it moral? Because Russia is bigger than Ukraine? Where's the morality at? I don't really understand. Why? Who says what side we got to pick? I think the reason why we pick, not we, but a lot of us pick the side of Ukraine over Russia, or just no side at all, is because we've been trained to believe that Russia are the bad guys. Okay. And a lot of this stuff is just not right. Now, I'm not trying to say Russia is this perfect place and Putin's a perfect guy. Of course not. But why is there so much anti-Russia sentiment? Why is it that we just go to Ukraine automatically and say they're the heroes and the victims? Why? They're a corrupt place, very corrupt. And I've been saying that for a long time. We know what happened with Joe Biden and the laptop. Matter of fact, let's go to it. Let's talk about it. Now, we finally know that the laptop is real. Welcome to 2020. Welcome to back then. Remember when the story first broke back then in October 2020, the whole laptop thing with Hunter Biden? If you were on Twitter and you tried to put the story out there, what happened? You getting your account blocked, the post got deleted, you might get banned permanently, perhaps, depending upon who was behind the trigger that day. Now, Jack Dorsey, the former Twitter CEO, came out and said that shouldn't have happened. It was the wrong thing to do. But it doesn't matter. It's too little too late. You can apologize. What they say? Too late to apologize? One Republic. It's late to apologize now. It's already been done. It's already over with. Damage has been done. It's already over with. It's already gone. The laptop came out right before the election, October the 12th. Before the November the 4th election. If we would have had that out there and they didn't censor it, that would have definitely helped us a lot in the election. The only reason why they didn't put it out there is because they knew that it would impact the election. That's why. Not because it was stolen information, because they had no problem just a few days before that putting out Trump's tax returns. How did they get that? If you publish tax returns, or you get it through, if you give the returns out without the permission of the person that has the tax returns, that's illegal. That's a crime right there. That's some personal information, my personal stuff. You can't give that out just without my consent. Like, for example, if I go to H&R Block and do my taxes, which I don't think you should. If you're Trump or somebody like that with a bunch of money, don't go to H&R Block. Go to a tax attorney and get some real secure stuff and some real advice. But if you go to H&R Block and you do your taxes, and then the person takes your form and gives it to CBS or ABC or MS-13 DNC, that's illegal. You can't do that. That's totally illegal, because you go there in confidence. Like, okay, you're going to do my tax returns. It's going to be private, discreet. I get my money, or I got to pay my money, whatever it is. That's what I'm coming here for. Not for you to broadcast my personal information like that. But regardless, they still put it out there. Christine Blasey Ford said that Brett Kavanaugh assaulted her back in college. And everybody believed it. Everybody ran with it. No investigation, no background check, no nothing. They ran with it. When he was trying to become the next Supreme Court justice, they don't really care about putting out stuff that'll hurt you, unless you're on the left. Then they want to say, oh, no, we can't do that. Let's not put that out there. Now, on that laptop had all kinds of stuff. You had some really inappropriate adult stuff on there. You also had him smoking crack. I'm talking about beaming the Scotty, super high on the crack, or on the dust or whatever it was. And his pictures look like a man that was just, I don't even know, like a degenerate. Him and his sister, was her Ashley, both degenerates. And when you see something like that, you're like, okay, sometimes kids go astray. But if there's a pattern, you got this guy getting high on drugs, like you're not coming from a bad upbringing, or at least you shouldn't have. You're not coming from a poor upbringing, but maybe your father is a little off, as we can see, sniffing kids and stuff like that. Maybe you are the same as your father, but we see it more from you because you're not a protected kind of guy like Joe Biden is by being a politician. We see what's going on with Hunter Biden and his sister, Ashley. They both got problems. They're both lunatics. But aside from the personal issues, all the weird adult stuff and the crack smoke from Hunter Biden on the laptop, you also had his connection to Ukraine. I think Putin said that Ukraine is a Western puppet state. I mean, from what I saw on Hunter Biden's laptop, that might be the case. Joe Biden even bragged on it. He bragged on how he went to Ukraine and bullied them into doing what he wanted to do. Now, remember, Hunter Biden was on this company called Burisma Holdings. This is a gas company in Ukraine, getting paid $50,000 per month. 50,000, $50,000 per month on the board of Burisma Holdings. To do what? He has no prior experience in energy, oil, gas, electric, nothing. He was in the military and got caught getting high and got discharged. So why is he on the board of this company in Ukraine of all places? Why not a board in America? Why Ukraine? Well, at one point, Joe Biden was a vice president, obviously, and he was a special envoy to Ukraine. Okay, he went to Kiev a lot, like 14 times in his presidency. And one time he went there to bully the prosecutor, Victor Shokin. Victor Shokin was looking into Burisma Holdings, and they might have taken him down. So if Shokin is successful in this pursuit, then Burisma is gone. Therefore, Hunter Biden's paycheck is gone. And then I forgot one thing. Remember the whole thing about 10 for the big guy, 10% for the big guy? You see, there were quite a few deals like that were seen on Hunter Biden's laptop. And who's the big guy? If you are Hunter Biden, you're Joe Biden's son, and you're able to call your dad and have him go to a country to bully the whole country into firing a prosecutor, and the prosecutor gets fired, and you keep your job. If you ever do something like that, the big guy is you, Joe Biden. You're the big guy. So he says, okay, 10 for the big guy, 15 for the big guy, 20 for the big guy. That's 10%, 15%, 20% for the big guy. So, hey, all right, I got a deal right. I'm making money from Burisma Holdings, whatever. I'll give a piece of this to my dad. He got the deal done, made everything happen. It's not in his name because he's a vice president. You can't do that. It'll be in my name. And now break him off at the table in Delaware with some money. You see how it works? This is why people like Zelensky, not Zelensky, I don't want to say him right now. People like Obama, Nancy Pelosi, Maxine Waters, why they got so much money. It's like, okay, you have a salary for being in government, for being the president, being a senator, House rep, or whatever. You might get paid $200,000, $300,000, but how are you worth $100 million? From what? Barack Obama, like, was he some kind of big tech guru? Did he create Apple? Did he create Uber? What did Barack Obama do to get so much wealth aside from be president? How do you gain that much wealth as president when your salary don't match up to that? All kind of crazy little deals going on all over the world. All kind of little bullying tactics going on. All kind of scammy type stuff happening in D.C. and around the world. Hunter Biden was doing that not just in Ukraine, China, Russia, everywhere. All over the place. It's all on a laptop. So no wonder they wanted to come out. Jen Psaki says, oh, Hunter's not in government. It doesn't matter. Matter of fact, him not being in government makes it worse because he's used as the go-between between Burisma Holdings and his father. If his dad cared about his son, he wouldn't use him for that purpose. He used somebody else, some kind of patsy, some kind of random guy that you don't know. He used his own son, and he's a crackhead. So, of course, he'll leave his laptop in a repair shop, and it gets found by the federales. And the feds don't do anything. The feds had to take in December 2019 because the repair shop guy had a laptop that he was working on from Hunter Biden. He left it there. He didn't come pick it up at all. So it's just sitting there in the repair shop. And the repair guy's like, okay, I have the laptop here. What am I going to do with it? All right, I'm going to call the federales. So the feds come, they scoop it up December 2019. But before he gave it to the feds, he made a copy of the hard drive and kept it. So months go by, nothing happens. They don't say a word. We're in the election cycle right now. They don't say a word. Comey going on TV talking about the laptop that Giuliani has after it got discovered back in October 2020. He's going on TV saying that the laptop is not real, disinformation. Meanwhile, the whole time they had a laptop at FBI. Didn't talk about it at all. Okay, so the FBI, they were trying to cover it up. The media wanted to cover it up. Big tech wanted to cover it up. Everybody wanted to cover it up. Well, we know what's going on. We know how corrupt the Bidens are. Okay, and we know how corrupt Ukraine is. So when they say Ukraine is a puppet state of the West, if that's not true, I can't tell. I cannot tell. They appear to be a puppet of the West. Because you can go there and say, hey, fire that guy or you won't get this money. Okay, we got $1 billion for you if you fire that guy right there, and they do it. That's not independent. That's not sovereign. Same thing going on right now. NATO is giving them a bunch of arms, giving them all kind of stuff, and they're not helping them at all. It's like, nah, you got it. Take care of it. They're pressuring them to keep on fighting because NATO was fighting Russia through Ukraine. Ukraine being used as a battleground, as a proxy battleground, the same as the Philippines in World War II. That's what's happening right now. Zelensky is unnecessarily making this drag on. You should just say, we're not going to join NATO. We're going to be neutral. That should happen. It'll be over with. But since you don't want to do that, now the war is going to rage on. For what purpose? Because NATO want to fight Russia indirectly. Because if there was a direct fight between NATO and Russia, now you got nukes in the game. That'd be bad for everybody. They want to fight a low conflict war by sacrificing Ukrainian citizens. That's what's happening right now. That is what's going on for sure. All right, so Zelensky, hey, if you're listening to Zelensky, go ahead and just fall back, man. You're not going to win. They're putting you in front of green screens and letting you talk and whatnot. Are you even in Ukraine anymore? Are you probably in Poland somewhere or in Germany? You're not in Kiev in your bunker. You're in front of a green screen. How you get a green screen that's that big? Like, where are you at? You in a soundstage, sir? That's not a basement bunker. That's a whole soundstage with the green screen and lighting and all that kind of stuff. You're not in Ukraine. So just stop the war, man. It's not necessary. I know you want to be part of, you want to be European. You want to be in France and UK, and just stop. Leave it alone. Then they say Putin wants to reunify the old USSR. For what reason? Why does he want Kazakhstan and Kyrgyzstan and stuff like that? For what? Maybe he doesn't want to have NATO on his hind parts. They said they wouldn't go an inch further, and then they went several hundreds of miles further into the Baltics and everywhere else. But whatever. Whatever. We'll see what happens. And I'm telling you, the whole Ukraine thing, the media are telling you straight lies. 1,000% pure lies from top to bottom. Okay. Oh, here's something else for you guys. Speaking about politicians and whatnot, here's a picture of a certain somebody that you probably know. And the date of the image should give you pause. It should most certainly give you pause. So here it is. Now, who's that person right there? Do you guys know who that is? This right here, the lady right there, but you know who that is on the right. That's JFK, obviously. At his inauguration. The person right there is Nancy Pelosi at JFK's inauguration. Ma'am, you are a whole fossil right now. You are a walking relic. Please go retire. Okay? You got these guys that are 1,000 years old still in government. Term limits. You were around in the 60s. Biden bad enough. Since like 1972, been around. He's old. But Nancy Pelosi, I mean, good grief. They may as well show her with George Washington, the OG. Show her with him. Same thing. Nancy Pelosi. with JFK at his inauguration. What was like 64 or something like that? I mean, crazy. Totally crazy. But yeah, shout out to everybody that believes in the truth and not the fake media that we're getting right now. And matter of fact, speaking of Pelosi, I saw her speak recently. Makes no sense at all because she's 1,000 years old. I mean, at a certain point, how can your speech be 100% impeccable if you are 1,000,000 years old? It's kind of hard to do, ain't it? But I move right along. Oh, Lia Thomas. We got to talk about Lia Thomas. Now, Lia, quote unquote, Lia Thomas, AKA or FKA, William Thomas, defeated all the other women at the 500-yard free in the NCAA Championship to win a championship. Now, she came in 5th place today, I think, or he, the, whatever. Lia came in 5th place today, but that was cap. I mean, come on. If you see quote unquote Lia's size, you're gonna know that there's no way a woman could beat this person. Okay, now check it out. Hold on. So here's the image that I gotta show you guys of quote unquote Lia, FKA William. Now check it out. Put it on the screen right quick. Do you see what's going on here? So these are all swimmers. You see her on the far right. She's just wearing the Texas stuff, you know, the Texas Longhorns and the cowboy hat. But she is a swimmer. 1st, 2nd, and 3rd place. Look how big this person is, though. I mean, look at it. Like, I don't mean big like this person is like on steroids or, you know, a meathead or something like that. The skeletal differences are shocking. Shocking. Your feet, your hands, your shoulders, your head, your chest, your torso, all of that is humongous. Humongous. You look like Michael Phelps had a baby with Bret the Hitman Hart. You are big. You're about a good 6'3", 6'4". I'm about 6'3" myself. I could tell a tall guy when I see it. This person is humongous. I've seen some websites where they say this person is 5'8". Come on. Do they appear to be 5'8" to you? You look here about a good at least 6'2". Bare minimum. Of course they won. People are so dumb about science. They say believe in the science, but they don't know what a man is. They don't know what an XY man is. Check it out. See, look. Is it Kane? Exactly. Is it Kane? But look, your male biology does so much for you. One of the main things is upper body strength. Men have upper body strength more naturally than women. Women are stronger lower body because they got to carry a baby. So they got to have hips that break apart and release a baby. They're stronger lower body. Men stronger upper body. Swimming is upper body. You got to be able to move your arms, and you got to have a good lung capacity. Your cardiovascular capacity has got to be on point to be able to swim. And you're a good 6'4", so you longer than everybody else. You're able to take longer strides. You're looking like Tim Duncan right now in the pool. You understand? He was a good swimmer back in the day too. But yeah, this is unfair, 100% unfair. And people act like, trans women are women. Look, you call yourself whatever you want to call yourself. You can identify, you can think whatever you want to think about yourself. I can't control your thought process. If I think that I look like Bill Gates in the mirror every day and I have his money, well, hey man, good for me. Pat on the back, fantastic. I can believe whatever I want. That's my business. Okay. That's what I want to do. But reality says something different. If I want to go to the bank talking about I'm Bill Gates, give me some money, they're going to call the federales on me ASAP. Be like, yo, get him away from here. Send him to the joint or to mental health hospital. Do not let him be in here talking about he's Bill Gates anymore. He is not Bill Gates, obviously. Okay. It's just it. His last name might be Gates, but he's not the Bill Gates. You can think however you want to think, but when you try to go and compete against women as biological man, it's unfair. And you never see it the other way around. You don't see trans men compete against men ever. Have you ever seen a trans man compete against men? Never in your life. basketball, football, baseball, soccer, swimming, tennis, lacrosse, speed skating, speed walking, physical combat, MMA. Never, ever, ever, ever. Because the trans men, the XX women who now identify as men, they are some kind of way smart a little bit. They know they can't get into a ring with a man and try to fight him and win and not get beat down. Generally, that's what I see. I mean, you got some kind of bulldaggery type trans men that might try to do something like that. You got some of these, they kind of built like thing from on Fantastic Four. They might try to get in the mix, but then when they get stomped out, then they regret the decision. But you never really see that. But you always see these big 6'4" bodybuilding looking guys that call themselves women compete against women who are actually women, biologically, XX women. Somebody said that it's dumb to think that men would try to become women to compete against women and win. People always do dumb things, though. We're talking about human beings here. I've seen some dumb things happen. Okay, I've seen guys skydive with no pair. I mean, I've seen some of the dumbest things ever that you could ever imagine. People do it all the time. People do it every day. It'd be a hot stove or something that's on fire or electrified, and the sign says don't touch. People will touch it still and die. And they dead. The sign says do not touch. All right, I'm going to touch it. And I'm dead. People do that every single day because they're dumb. Not all, but some. Some people will try to, quote unquote, become women and dominate there because they cannot get anywhere as a man. Matter of fact, I got an article. Well, not an article, but just a piece of an article that has some evidence for what I'm saying. Now remember, the race that this person won, Lia Thomas, is the 500-yard free. They are the NCAA champion in that race against the women, right? So let's go back to 2019 because remember, Lia Thomas was William and swimming against the men at the same team, UPenn, on the men's team swimming. So let's see what this person did back in 2019 as far as their time. Okay, this is on college swimming or pardon me, swimcloud.com. If you see my article on my website about this will be the first link in the description of links below the article. So here it is. These are the times for the 500. You see on the right, the 500 free, 2019, 2020. These are the top times, right? So I'm on what page am I on? Page 16. Now, 775 rank is Lia Thomas. Okay. The name was William, but since it's the same person, they changed it. So it changed retroactively as well. 775th place with their time in the 500 free against the men. 775th. And it's right here on the website. On my website, check it out. First link in the box. Don't believe me? Find it for yourself, right? Find it for yourself. But now we go from 775th to number 1 NCAA champion. It's so silly. And some are saying, you know what? Why do the girls participate? Why do they not strike back? Well, there are some girls that protested. There were girls that protested right there at the event. They were booing them. They held up signs and everything. Some girls have quit because of this, but they won't get any attention because the NCAA is very powerful, as is the LGBT organizations and the mainstream media, politicians. They're not going to cover it. And the girls that remain, well, they work really hard to get to where they're at. They don't want to just stop doing what they're doing. I mean, think about it. Like, they've been all their life swimming to get to a point in college. They're on a scholarship. They're doing well. And here comes this guy messing things up. So it's like, what do? Do you keep on swimming and keep a scholarship? Do you stop and lose that? Do you come out publicly and fight the NCAA, a $1 billion organization, the LGBT mob? A lot of us don't want to show our faces on social media because we're afraid of what our family is going to say. We don't want to have our boss see what we say on Twitter and have that impact us. So these 18, 19-year-old girls what's going through their mind. And some of them are still are brainwashed by K through 12 education, by the college to be more liberal. So some of them don't even really care about losing all the time. They'll say trans women are women. They have right to do whatever they want, and it's okay. They're losing. They can't get beyond this person, but they still support it because they don't really understand yet. So that's probably why there's not really a big kickback against this. You see what I'm saying? But there is a kickback for sure. People are going on TV, speaking their mind. But it needs to be a bigger one for sure from the lawmakers. This shouldn't be legal to do. You shouldn't be able to say, you know what, I identify as a male and go compete against as a female and compete against the women. That shouldn't be legal at all. Winnie says I'm wrong. What did I get wrong, Winnie? How am I wrong about what I'm saying? Okay, you can't say I'm wrong and then not give me an explanation. But yeah, because if you don't show up and don't swim, then you're on scholarship, messes you up that way. You about to graduate and move on with your life. It can get complicated. And you want to fight the NCAA. You want to be on TV. Remember, Nick Sandmann, all he did was just stand on this episode of Lincoln Memorial, stood right there. And as a result, when he came back home, he was getting death threats. They came to his school. They came to his school and protested. Imagine you are in high school, having a whole mob outside your school of adults, full-grown adults from all over the country, at your school protesting. How would you feel? We're not all built for that type of pressure. I am. A lot of you guys are, but not everybody is. So it is what it is. Ultimately, this is a lawmaker thing and also a school thing. It shouldn't be up to the girls to 100% try and change it. They have some responsibility, and some of them are doing something, but they can't all do it, and it needs to be more of an effort from the school and lawmakers, point blank, period. Okay. Is he a millionaire now, John? I'm not sure how much money he makes. Well, he got a settlement, but how much is the settlement? Did he get the money already? I don't know what happened. Let me see. All right, let's go ahead and get to some more stuff. Did I get to everything I wanted to get to? Jussie Smollett. So Jussie Smollett is out of jail for now, at least. He's out of jail. He served 7 days out of a 5-month sentence, and he may go back, but we'll see what happens. We'll see if it happens. If he goes back, he's out of jail right now, pending an appeal. And the thought process was, well, if he's in jail and an appeal's going on, the appeal could take longer than the sentence. So it would defeat the purpose. Let him out right now on bond and let him have an appeal later. And if the appeal goes through, then you stay home. If it doesn't go through, you go back to the joint. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. I don't have faith that he'll go back to jail, but I think he might. He might go back. It's been going on for a long time, about 3 years now, so he may go back to the joint. Who knows? But what I do know is that the drama surrounding this whole thing has been crazy. So much drama over not a whole lot of time. And ultimately, he should do a lot more time for what he did or what he tried to do, for sure. All right. Oh, and speaking about messaging, bad messaging, here's a tweet from Bloomberg Opinion. This right here, can you guys see this? It says, inflation stings most if you earn less than $300,000. So if you don't make $300,000, you're going to have problems with inflation. That's a pretty high bar, $300K. The median income for a person, an individual, is $33,000 in America. So you got to make $300,000 to not feel the inflation thing. But you could deal with it. Here's 4 ways to deal with your inflation woes. Take the bus. So don't drive your car. Sell your car to save gas, basically. I said that at the start as a joke, but they're saying that right here on Bloomberg Opinion. Take the bus. Don't buy in bulk. So don't prep. Don't get ready for the collapse. Try lentils instead of meat. So beans, basically, eat beans rather than meat, beans and rice. And then nobody said this would be fun. So basically, it's like, look, and you're poor now, so here's how to deal with it. This is what I did when I was real broke. Okay, I was walking, taking the bus, eating beans and rice every day. That's what I did. Okay, a can of beans, some Uncle Ben's rice. Can I buy that anymore? I'm not sure, but anyway, Uncle Ben's rice, can of beans, and just struggling. So basically, dealing with inflation, we're printing and spending money. We're sending $14 billion plus another $800 million to Ukraine. Meanwhile, you dealing with the high gas prices, high food prices. Hey, man, just suck it up, man. You be all right. I mean, terrible, terrible messaging. 100% terrible. But they don't really care. They don't care. They're going to keep printing and spending and sending money to Ukraine and other parts of the world. They'll keep on bombing other countries, using your money to do it. And all the while they say, man, just figure it out, man. Tighten it up. You be all right. I know it's crazy inflation, but it'll be just fine. All right. Now I got to find something else here. Oh, Kyle Rittenhouse posted this video, and it was very hilarious. So basically, remember he was in the courtroom crying. There was a few memes made of it, but he posted this one himself, and I think he was trolling Don Lemon, and the caption says, "No, it's not lemon heads. It's a burning hole in my pocket thanks to a Biden presidency." And it's him holding a gas pump crying at a car. Check it out. Hold on. Do I have sound? It's going to sound, matter of fact. I don't know if you guys can hear it. Let's get some sound pumping. Let's get this sound. Can we do that?
That's right, run.
So yeah, shout out to Kyle Rittenhouse for that one. You know, a little bit of humor for yourself, a little bit of self-deprecation, never hurt nobody. It's all good. So yeah, great meme right there. Go to his page at This Is Kyle R on the Twitters. All right. And what else I got going on? Did I get everything I wanted to get to? I got a few more I'm gonna show you guys. But in the meantime, if you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up. Like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. And if you're not subscribed yet, I don't know what you're waiting on. Go ahead and subscribe right now. If you are subscribed, check and see if you're still subscribed, because you might be unsubscribed for some reason, because YouTube does that occasionally. Oh, here's another picture. So our guy Kanye West is in a school textbook. So when he was at the White House meeting with Donald Trump with the MAGA hat on next to Jim Brown and whatnot, that particular image is in a textbook. I'm not sure where this is or what's going on, but it's in the textbook. Now, I wish I was there. I probably could have been there. I know some guys that probably were around in that situation, but that right there is an historic moment. Now, I know Kanye dealing with his own personal issues right now, but this right here, that whole moment, that whole time was definitely historical, for sure, in a school textbook. All right. People don't realize that we're making history right now with everything that we do. Like what we're doing right now with this whole scandemic will be looked at years from now, and they'll judge it whether it be good or bad. And I think it'll be looked at like it was ridiculous. Okay, wearing masks that don't work, making little kids wear masks that don't work, for what reason? It'll be seen as very dumb, for sure. But, here we are. Here we are. Let me get to a few more I got, and then I'll move on and get the super chats. Okay. Okay, matter of fact, here's a page. He posted a page, too. So... okay, talking about race. So there's a piece of the race of the textbook talking about race. turnout of the two biggest minority groups, Hispanics and African Americans, in general elections typically far lower than the percentage of the white Americans. Blah, 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 blah. But there was more for Trump and rappers talking about him. So it made a big difference. It made a huge difference. All right. So yeah, shout out to him. And I'm telling you, the elections coming up, 2022, the midterms are going to be crazy. In 2024, they're going to be crazier. So y'all get ready. Y'all hold on to your hats. It's going to be nuts coming up here. Just get ready for it. I'm trying to get prepared myself, but I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. All right. Now, let me see if I can find another video that I wanted to play for you guys. I think it might be it. That might be about all. And I got super chats on deck. I'm gonna get to those. And then I agree with you, Jussie. We'll be the ones known as the truth tellers in the future. We'll be the ones that were spreading the correct information and the ones who are going against the grain and corrupt governments. Okay, we most certainly will. Absolutely. All right. Now, let me see if I can find something here. All right, I think we good. Let's get to the next one. Super chats on that. Let's get to those right quick, and then we get to the calls. Thank you to JRC1 who says, "What the H was that Stacey Abrams Star Trek stuff? We true conservatives definitely need our own stuff across the board." Yeah, I'm with you, man. It was straight propaganda. They're trying to make her be the quote unquote president of United Earth on that show to normalize her being in an authority role. So it's easy for us to digest. But no matter how hard they try, they're not going to make Stacey Abrams work. It just ain't going to happen. They tried it with Cory Booker and Kamala Harris. It didn't go over. They thought they could put two light-skinned black people who are kind of racially ambiguous in there, and that would be attractive to an audience. They thought they could just reproduce Barack Obama. And just like, remember, if you guys watch wrestling, when Nash and Hall left, and RIP Kevin Nash, I mean, not Kevin Nash, RIP Scott Hall. When Nash and Hall left WWF, when they were Deez and Razor Ramon and went to WCW and, became the outsiders, when they left, McMahon tried to replace these guys with like subs. They look somewhat like Nash and Hall, but they weren't Nash and Hall. It's like, who are these guys? It didn't work because you can't just put somebody in there that looks the same, that sounds similar. It ain't going to work, man. Barack Obama had a certain kind of a swag to him. I don't even want to say that kind of word, but it's the truth. He had a certain something about him that people liked. They liked him. Cory Booker, kind of nerdy. It is what it is. And I'm not saying that to judge anybody. I'm just saying you didn't have that it factor that Obama had. You may look similar. You may be black or whatever. So what? You got to have that it factor. It's got to be the right timing. You got to have that it factor. He didn't have it. Stacey Abrams don't have it. You're a whole cafeteria lady trying to become the president. It ain't going to work. Stick in your lane. Don't chase waterfalls. Rivers and lakes, that's more your speed. But I'll move on. Look into some more here. Apple Backer Alpuff Daddy. My man Apple, shout out to Apple again, coming in here. He says, Miami rapper Cino got murked when getting out of jail. Yeah, another guy died too. Another guy, I forget his name, from DC. Rappers die so much, it's crazy. I was reading Boyce Watkins said something like 200 rappers got killed last year. 200 rappers got killed last year. This is common. 51% of rappers that died from murder. Matter of fact, 54% of rappers that died from murder. No big deal though, right? It's just proximity violence, right? Oh, okay. Proximity violence. Got it. Anyway, Apple also says, where BLM at? Counting their corruption money? Exactly. Also, RIP Matthew Perna, victim of bullying and malicious prosecution by liberal DOJ and FBI. God bless his family. God bless all J6 MAGA patriots in DC jail. Thank you to Tony Patino for your donation. Appreciate you, boss. Thank you to Apple, who says, despite his conviction for false reporting and trying to start a race war, Jussie Smollett is out of jail pending appeal. J6 patriots jail in solitary before trial on nonviolent charges. Racism, no way. Exactly. So you got these white guys in jail for January 6th. No bail, no trial set, just no charges, just sitting there in jail. And Jussie Smollett gets out of jail in 2 days. No problem, for trying to start a race war. That was proven and documented on camera. All right. Shout out to Apple again, who says, pray for peace, pray for the children in Ukraine. In the future, Stacey Abrams is president of the earth. Thank you to Renard Thomas, who says, ABL, keep doing a good job. I'm proud of you. Thank you for that, man. Appreciate it. Thank you to Charles Turner Jr., who says, hopefully more people have woken up about how insignificant wokeness is. China, Iran, and Russia are among other countries. They're not concerned about gender pronouns, alphabet, suit group, clown world. Exactly. Yeah, man. China and Russia, they kind of ahead of the curve, really. We're not doing very well with the cultural stuff. And all of that is because of mainstream media, politics. We got to take that back for sure. Thank you to Nicole, who says, some people have gone as far as hoisting the Ukrainian flag to show quote unquote support. Why don't they volunteer to host a family? It's nuts that our taxpayer money pays and employs foreigners while our vets live in tents. Exactly. Thank you to Apu again, who says, hey, ABL, how are Star Trek, Stacey Abrams, and Mitt Romney's Mormon underwear the same? Both circle Uranus looking for Klingons. By the way, Mitt's a grift. Thank you to Just My 4 Cents, who says, a fail just like Kamala H. if they move her to the front of the line. There you go. Apu says, ABL fans in Kentucky, South Carolina, and Utah, y'all got to get your act together and vote out Mitch McConnell, Lindsey Graham, and Mitt Romney, rhinos. Lindsey Graham is ridiculous. Lindsey Graham talking about, we got to. Am I frozen? What's going on? Hold on. Make sure I'm not frozen. Wow, really? I shouldn't be freezing. Okay, I should be all right now. Let's go back to where I was. Now I got to go find my super chats and everything. I had to refresh. Let's make sure that we good to go. All right. The internet messing up. Hey, blame the white man. Blame the white man. I got that good internet too. I don't know what's going on. Somebody in here they're in the neighborhood trying to watch Netflix at the same time. It's like, look, man, y'all can do that later. We don't got time for that right now. We trying to run the show. No Netflix. no Netflix, man. We're not gonna do it tonight. All right, let's go back to where I was. Let me see. Hold on. Oh, okay. Apu says, do I like eggs, scrambled, fried, poached, Benny? I don't really like eggs at all. If anything, I eat scrambled eggs. Like in a fried rice. Like it can't just be eggs by themselves. It's got to be kind of mixed together with something. But just eggs, definitely not no runny eggs. The texture is no bueno. Too slippery. Like, ugh. Give me some scrambled eggs with some kind of salt or something on it. And it got to be kind of scrambled hard. Not no soft. I'm cool on that. Topic on eggs. I'm not really sure. I guess pepper, but I don't eat eggs often. Again, if I was to eat eggs, it'd be like part of fried rice, like the little piece of egg they put in it. But beyond that, nah, I'm cool. Do I work out? How much do you bench? How many push-ups? 100 push-ups at a time. I could do that. I'm a calisthenics guy. I don't really bench press. I did that back in the day, but I don't bench press now. I have a stationary bike for cardio, and I have like one of those power towers. But I don't do weightlifting. I did that when I was like a teenager. I had a weight bench in my room and everything, but I don't do that anymore. Push-ups, sit-ups, pull-ups, that's the main thing. Body exercises. And my diet is on point. Like super on point. So that's the main thing. I don't drink soda or nothing like that. Most of them I do is eat a honey bun, and that's as far as I go. Coconut water for hydration. That's really important to me. Okay. That's really what I'm on. Happy St. Patrick's Day or belated St. Patrick's Day, ABL. March 19th today is St. Joseph's Day. Jesus' foster dad. In Italy, it's Father's Day. Shout out to your dad, ABL, and your grandfathers on this St. Joseph's Day. Yeah, shout out to everybody. Apu says, does my family watch my streams? I think so. They don't really tell me when they watch, but I think people watch that I don't know watch. So shout out to everybody that's watching. If you're my family member, if I know you from somewhere, thank you for watching. Nicole says, Putin is how every leader should be. Anyone to research him will probably respect him. Yes, I agree. ABL, as a kid, did you skateboard, BMX, rollerblade? Nah. I tried to rollerblade. It wasn't good. BMX, I had a bike, but I didn't BMX. I tried doing that too. I tried like recording. Like, remember back in the day, they had X Games that came out and guys were trying to do tricks and stuff. I was trying to like record with like a little mini camera, but it didn't really work out too well. My days as a film director recording tricks and whatnot, it didn't go well. I was like recording the ground. It came out all bad. But yeah, I was more of a basketball guy. Basketball, football, that's my thing. I didn't really do the X Games type stuff. I was like more of a basketball player. But not a very good one, but good enough. If I was on the court, you pick me up because I'm tall. And I can get you a few rebounds and a few points and that's it. But I was all right playing basketball. He also says, I'm worried about Ukraine war dividing the right. That's a good question. I'm not really sure the war will divide the right. I'm not sure we're unified enough to divide, if that makes any sense. I'm not sure it's like one big block of us that are quote unquote on the right to be able to divide. We're like individual slices. We're not one big block of government cheese. Josh Foss says, what's up, ABL? Have you seen lesbian kissing scene as restored on Pixar's Lightyear? Oh, okay, yeah. So there was a gay kiss restored on Pixar's Lightyear movie because of the staff's outrage of Florida's bill. Guess the kiddo won't be watching this one. Yeah, not at all. My thing is, why would they restore that? Like, what was the purpose of it? Why was it out of the movie to begin with? And why would they restore it? So they're openly trying to push LGBT stuff to counteract the bill. So, I mean, they're doing it in the open now. When we say they're trying to push LGBT stuff and we get, talked down or dismissed as being conspiracy theorists and we're not really being serious, and you see stuff like that, then they're doing it right there in front of your face. They're not trying to hide it anymore. It's right in front of you. Thank you to Melissa who says, truth bombs are dropping. Thanks for taking the time, ABL. Oh, always. Thank you for that. I appreciate you. I appreciate the heart and the prayer emoji. Thank you to John Medeski who says, giving a 10% to the big guy. It's ABL. Thank you for that, man. I appreciate you. Joe Ryder 84 says, ABL, what's your favorite video game series? Oh, that's a good question. Favorite video game series? Probably, if you go like all time, probably like Mario. Yeah, all time. Like, there's a lot of games I like right now, but individually, not necessarily as a series. Like right now, at my age, probably something like Call of Duty because it's quick and easy. But when I was a kid up until now, the quality of the games got to be Mario. From the OG Mario on the NES that I had to Mario on the Switch. How it stayed good throughout the entire time and consistent for like 30, 40 years. Probably the Mario games as far as the series. Now, as far as favorite game, that's something else. But series, Mario. I think it's F Ranger Xbox who says, Convention of States, take the power back. 860, please, ABL have explosive info. All right, we'll check it out. Thank you to Silas who says, as long as POCs can spend more, inflation is okay. Thank you to Rosewell 1983 for the donation who says, cool. Rosewell also says, hope they don't put Jussie in solitary. He might attack himself again, I think, if no one is watching. Thank you to Nicole who says, Emma is number one. Julia Collins still holds the women's record in Jeopardy. That's right. That's right. You're speaking about in the 500 free in women's college, Emma, she came in quote unquote second, but it should be first. And Julia Collins is number one, and not that person looking like Miss Doubtfire that is seen as number one. I don't know what their name is, but it looked like Miss Doubtfire. Thank you to Matrix who says he's trolling LeBron James. Yeah, you're right about that. Shout out to Flat Matrix. Thank you to Jonathan Morgenstern for the donation. Thank you to You Matter to God who says, Hey, ABL, have you heard of the new variant Delta crying? They might scam us and get into another lockdown. Any thoughts? I'm not doing no more lockdowns. Guys around here that I know, people in this area, we're not doing lockdowns again. If you do a lockdown again, you want it to. There's no way they could force another lock. It ain't go because where I live, the police chief got on TV and said he would not enforce any kind of mask mandate, and that might have been a year and a half ago. So how you go from that to saying, okay, forced lockdown? It ain't gonna happen. It happened at first because everybody was so scared and afraid, but it won't happen again. You gotta do a false flag event to make that happen. Like have a mass death in public, but that ain't gonna happen. Gerardo84 says, what's your thoughts on Raphael Warnock? Do you think he will be unseated? He can be unseated, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. It's going to be kind of like to the wire, in my opinion. I don't know. We'll see come midterm time. It's kind of hard to tell. They get to Charlotte Hemlock, who says, don't know what I do without your program, ABL. Getting pummeled all the time with fake news media. It's hard to know what's true. Well, thank you, man. I appreciate it. This is just what I do. And I always try to provide sources and information just so you know that I'm right as well. I don't want to come on here and say something wrong. Like I may have a video topic that I might want to do, but if I'm not quite sure about what's happening, I don't have all the information, I don't really feel comfortable talking about it yet, I'll hold off. I'll be like, nope, don't want to put it out there. It could do very well, get a lot of views, but I don't want to put out something that I know is not 100% correct. That's not fleshed out all the way. I'll always give you the 100% real information all the time. Purple says, did I see the Trump podcast on a particular website? I'm not sure if that's a legitimate website or not, so I don't want to say it right now. But I gotta check it right quick. Give me 1 second. Fullsend.com. Okay, it's legitimate. So fullsend.com. Yeah, I've not seen that. I need to go check it out. But that will be all for the super chats. Thank you all for being here. Definitely appreciate it. Let's get to the calls. And the number to call is 434-658-1220. Hopefully we're not buffering and anything. Hopefully everything's good. But 434-658-1220. Go ahead and call. Don't be afraid. If you having a hard time getting in, don't blame me. Blame the white man. If Skype's not working right, again, don't blame me. Blame the white man. It's not my fault. Let's go ahead and get rocking and rolling. And let's get into it. All right, let's go. 860, you know line, who am I speaking to?
Hey, Bill. This is FNA Ranger Xbox. How you doing, brother?
It's all good, man. What's happening?
Oh, yeah. I am just appalled at the way Fox News is pushing for thermonuclear war with Russia. I just cannot understand. What people don't understand is, well, they only got 6,000 missiles, but each missile has 10 100-megaton warheads that hit 10 separate targets. That's 10 times 6,000, do the math.
I mean, really, it wouldn't even be them by themselves. It'd be China involved as well. So the whole world would suffer. It makes no sense to do it.
Well, personally, when you look at our foreign aid program and the amount of politicians, family members who are getting money from companies in Ukraine, we're going to give you $1 billion in foreign aid, but under the table, we need $100 million back.
Right.
And then China. Did you know Nancy Pelosi's husband during the summer Beijing Olympics was running an exclusive limo company for a few million dollars?
I had no idea.
Yeah, most Americans don't till you do the research on how are these politicians making all this insane amounts of money on $170,000 a year salary.
It makes sense.
It's not how they're getting paid. It's the family members.
Right.
Now, I sent you a super chat about my explosive information. You can do a whole show on this topic. remember how I've been saying this whole green thing's a scam? They're scamming us. They're scamming us. They're scamming us. I've been saying it for a couple of years now.
Yes.
Okay, here it is. It came out recently that through fake companies in the Bahamas from Russia have been funding the green protest groups. So who's colluding with Russia now, baby?
Hilarious. Totally hilarious. So they're getting Russian money through all this green stuff they're promoting on television. Green, green, green. Meanwhile, Russian money.
To kill our ability to pull oil out of the ground, it's all ties into our national defense, because our military has to have oil to run. The ships run on oil. The aircraft run on kerosene, which is derived from crude oil. You know, the vehicles run on MoGas. It's part of our national defense, and they're destroying our national defense. They're destroying our currency on purpose. And this whole sham in Ukraine that you were spot on, that I'm pretty sure Russia has every single right to be upset with what was going on in their backyard. But this is all distraction from the treasonous people in our government destroying our country on purpose, because they've been paid by the Chinese government to destroy the dollar so that the Chinese yuan can take over as the world currency. And you're watching it play out. It's not a conspiracy theory. It's happening live right in front of people's faces.
That's right. Absolutely.
And that's all I got, brother. I just wondered if you saw the little blip that popped up about the Russian offshore corporations funding American green groups protesting, our oil industry.
Wow. It makes all sense in the world. It makes perfect sense.
I just thought I'd give you a topic for a show. God bless you. God bless America. Remember, Convention of States. Item number 1 on the docket, term limits. Item number 2, each state's National Guard shall be in charge of that state's election security. And there's a few more things that are on the docket, but those are the 2 most important, hard-hitting things, because the people are in charge of this country, not those elitists. And that's all I got for you, brother. God bless.
Thank you for the call, man. Appreciate it.
Hey, you take care. Bye.
Man, great call. It makes sense, though. So Russia, a lot of Russian companies, they're behind the whole green thing. They can get us to stop using or reduce our fossil fuel production. We're relying upon them. So we can't just do whatever we want to them, because we rely upon them. You got to get that oil. And if you can't go to them, you got to go to Saudi. And they're not even answering the phone. That's crazy. 861, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Not those elitists. And that's all I got for you, brother.
Let me turn the volume down. Okay, yeah. Anthony, how you doing? It's Paul from China, man. How you doing?
It's all good, man. What's happening?
Yeah, I wanted to get your opinion on Jussie Smollett and like what the future holds for him. As a very brief preamble, this guy's situation reminds me a lot of Milli Vanilli. And about a year or maybe 2 years ago, I saw an interview with Fab Morvan. And he was talking about how, after everything that went down, he spent years inside his apartment, and he only came out for like food and water, and he was just this ghost, just disappeared for years. And it took him a long time to recover. And but now he's doing good. I follow Fab Morvan on Instagram, and he's making music and doing concerts and traveling, and he's living a successful life. So he was able to recover from all that. But his partner, Rob Politis, he was never able to recover. He just went deeper and deeper into drugs and everything, and he eventually OD'd. So Jussie, he seems to be kind of he's a smart guy. He seems to be a little bit too headstrong to spiral down into a drug pit. But you never know. I mean, David Carradine committed suicide. You talked about earlier in the show, you talked about Mrs. Doubtfire. I forgot the actor's name. I know he was also in Good Will Hunting with Matt Damon. Forgot the guy's name, but if I'm mistaken, that guy, I think he also committed suicide, and other Hollywood, personalities have committed suicide. So just with Jussie, I see two things. I see a slow decline that's going to increasingly involve drugs, because we all have our breaking point. He's a smart guy, but he might get to a point where he just breaks and falls into the snorting cocaine and shoot heroin or whatever. It's either that, or he's going to take his situation and maneuver it into some kind of reality TV show. What do you think the future holds for Jussie?
That's a good question. He could do reality TV. He may do some kind of podcast type thing. He may still try to do the whole Colin Kaepernick type route, because some think that he shouldn't go to jail. I've seen that quite a bit. So he may have a chip on his shoulder to say, you know what, I was put in jail because I was trying to fight for our rights and all of that kind of stuff. So he could try to use this moment to help him in his political type aspirations. That could happen. Although I don't agree with it, obviously. Some do, a lot do. So he could use that to his advantage.
Do you think he's too headstrong for the drugs?
I'm not sure that he will fall into the drugs deeply like the guys Milli Vanilli did. I think he has done drugs before, but he's been in Hollywood for a long time. He was a child star as well. That's something else, because the guys Milli Vanilli, they came into this as an adult. They were like from Europe. It's a whole different thing. But he's been on Hollywood since he's been a little boy. So he's seen drugs, all that kind of stuff for a long time. So if he's not strung out by now, he probably won't be, because we've seen Amanda Bynes and Britney Spears as adults that can't even really operate. If he's not done that by now, I think he'd be okay.
Yeah. Okay. Well, he's a laughing stock. He's a joke. I mean, he might have. There might be there's a segment out there, I guess, that supports him, but I think it's a small slice of the pie. I think the majority of the pie looks at him and just thinks like, the clown, a buffoon. They see him, they're gonna point fingers and snicker. So he's got a stain on him that's never gonna go away. And that, I mean, it's interesting to see what he does. I think he will go back to jail. I saw the whole thing, the judge's sentencing. I thought the judge did very well. Great explanation for why he did what he did. And yeah, I'll let you go, man. I ain't gonna belabor the point. It's just that I think he will go to jail. I think he will do his time, and when he comes out, it'd be interesting to see how he moves forward. But thank you.
Thank you for the call, man. Appreciate it.
All right.
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, what's he going to do when he comes out? I think he'd be okay. I think he'd try to finagle this and to use it into some SJW type stuff and continue to do what he had been doing. He won't necessarily be in Hollywood anymore, maybe, but he'll be able to do something else, I think. All right, Tariq, what's going on?
Hey, ABL, what's up, bro? You know what, man? It's Jussie Smollett is truly mental, man, because I mean, the man is still saying he's innocent. And I'm like, innocent from what? And I'm trying to understand his argument. Is he now coming out saying the African brothers intentionally attacked him, or that they lie about attacking him and it was really some white people, and what he's going through is an injustice of black people? It's something going on, or he's just a great actor, man. Like, I'm trying, because when I watch him, I'm trying to see if he really believes his lies, or if he's just putting on a show. And what's infuriating as well is how they try to emotionally grab black people. That's what angers me the most, man. Through his attorney and his family, they every time they make a statement, they say things like, "This is an injustice to the black man," or, I think one of his family. Was it Taraji P who likened this to Emmett Till?
Yes.
I mean, just saying. Now, one has to ask these questions. Why are they doing this? Why are they saying these outbursts? You know, inflating these issues with real civil rights issues in the past. And I think because they assume, just like liberals assume, and I mean, we have to be real. A lot of people assume black people are a dumb, emotional race. So they say those things to get black people out on the streets marching and try to fight for Jussie Smollett. And, you know, they do the whole black man incarceration thing. But the thing is, I think a lot of people are just sick of this. And, you know, and truth be told, I think a lot of people are just sick of the victim mentality that many on the left have, especially the LGBT, who to me, in many ways, are cry bullies, where they act like victims while bullying you at the same time, while censoring you, while taking away your economic opportunities, you know, things of that nature, but acting like victims. So, you know, what happened with Jussie Smollett, man, it just makes us look bad. I don't like how he's invoking the black community into it. And, you know, I am glad a lot of black folks, outside of the sellouts, you know, the celebrities, because they are weak. You know, black celebrity stands for nothing. They are weak cowards. They only do what the white liberal allows them to do. They will never push the bar any further than what their paymasters do. But yeah, man, so that's all I want to say about Jussie Smollett. But I really want to respond to that last caller when he said about Fox News pushing war with Russia. And man, the thing about Fox News, man, what we got to say is Fox News, outside of Tucker Carlson, who I'm shocked that he still has a job at Fox News, to be honest with you. But yeah, Fox News it's a rhino Republican network. Fox News has never been for the people. They are just as corrupt as CNN. And in fact, you know, Fox News had they were kind of not supporting Trump in 2016. I think they finally made a strategic move to support Trump, because the thing is, they saw that the Republican base was going with Trump. And if they want to stay on air or, you know, continue to maintain their viewership, they had to now be supportive of Trump. But deep down, I don't think Fox News ever liked Trump. They don't even play his speeches anymore. You know, they still had hosts on there pushing the Russian conspiracy, which is ridiculous. Because you look at CNN, I mean, you gotta think about it. If there was some Russian conspiracy against any Democrat president, other news outlets, if it's a liberal news outlet, they would debunk it, say it's crap. They wouldn't even entertain it. But the frustrating thing is that we got so many rhinos and sellouts like Chris Wallace. I forget the other dude who quit Fox News. He was a homosexual. Yeah. I mean, these guys. I mean, they just make the right look so divided, and they are the loudest ones, and they push this nonsense. So yeah, man, Fox News is a terrible network, and I keep telling people stop watching it. I mean, I want Tucker Carlson, to be honest, to go independent. And I'm going to wrap it up with this. Tucker Carlson seems to be the only person in American mainstream media who is given a somewhat balanced view of what's going on with Ukraine and Russia. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Tucker Carlson is bringing retired generals on to explain to the American people about the NATO expansion, the Ukraine civil war, which was killing the Russians in certain regions, and how that angered Russians. No other news network is doing that. So that's why they're calling him a traitor and trying to get him off air. So yeah, man, that's all I got to say, man.
Thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate it.
All right, take care.
Great call. Fantastic. Yeah, TV pundits, it's a mixed bag sometimes, in my opinion. Definitely a mixed bag. All right, I can hear me. 773 on the line. What speaker to?
Hey, ABL. It's Angela from Chicago. How are you?
I'm well. About yourself?
Pretty good. I was just a little flabbergasted just by all the pretty much trans women are just taking womanhood from cisgender women. Or, I'm sorry, I know this is a conservative line, so I'm just going to say women. I'm going to just put it out there. I'm a disaffected liberal. I've just been looking at a lot of conservative channels. Did you hear about, do you know who MJ Rodriguez is?
No, I don't.
okay, so MJ Rodriguez, she's on the show called Pose, and it's got Billy Porter and a bunch of other trans actresses on there. She's on Time Woman of the Year. Like, I'm fine with them doing their thing. I usually consider myself an ally, but why is it always trans women? Like with the whole Lia Thomas thing, like I don't care about people doing their thing and living their life. But I mean, the truth of the matter is you're biologically male. Everything about you, physicality wise, is all superior to women. So like why can't it just be Trans Woman of the Year, or oh, this trans woman did this? They're completely erasing our experiences. Having, becoming a woman, growing, kids on the line, growing boobs, having the male gaze change towards you. It's like that experience has been completely erased and being supplanted with these people who weren't working out as men. So like, all right, cool, we can go over here to the women's, part of the pool and we're going to dominate them. It's like, no, it's just not fair. And I don't really understand, like, why you have so many people advocating for these people to be in our spaces when we're getting in some cases we're being hurt. And I have to say this, recently I started taking like a martial art. I'm not that good at it, but when you're sparring with men and women, it just feels different. They're bigger, they're denser, their bones are heavier. Everything about them is just different. So I can't imagine being a man in a woman's sport. You already got it. Even I would think I was sparring with like a 17-year-old kid. His punches hurt. And it's a child. Like, I'm a grown woman. So it's just so weird how they want to come over to our spaces. They some of them don't even get boobs. Like, they just come like straight up like the ball fade, like, yeah, I'm a woman. What? it's just completely getting out of hand. And at first I felt like, man, am I like transphobic? But it's like, no, like they're not even considering like how they're doing things over on our part of the pool. And it's just, I don't know. I think I'm just kind of going on a rant. I'm not even asking you anything. I'm sorry about that, but I don't know. It was just kind of weird. And I was kind of wondering, I think the last time I was on here, I was asking you about sterilization and do you think that the goal is sterilization? Because I've been following a lot of detransitioning people online. A lot of women have been detransitioning from being trans men. And when you take those other hormones, like if you're a girl who's trying to be a guy, those hormones sterilize you. And if you're a man becoming a woman, the estrogen sterilizes you. So do you think this is not only a ploy to have our men be more feminine, but to sterilize us as well? I don't know. I might be going off the deep end.
I mean, that could be part of it. But again, like I was saying last time, I think Planned Parenthood already got that locked down, because if you could kill millions of babies a year, why do you need to sterilize a few people through this real arduous process? And I think it's more just about trying to make the children more malleable to predators. That's the main thing, because now rather than just saying trans women and trans men, it's saying trans kids. You see how that goes? Yeah, molding them for being handled by predators.
Correct. I was thinking the sterilization thing, because if you start giving a kid estrogen or testosterone really young, they're not going to be able to reproduce. They could change their mind later, but they're not going to be able to reproduce once they change their minds. It's awful. That's true. But yeah, man, that's all I had. I was just going on a rant. I'm like, man, it could have been like 5 real women and just 1 trans woman. It's all trans women that they pick in to just stand out amongst women. I don't know. I was just mad. So.
I got you 100%.
All right. All right, man. Thank you so much for listening to me rant. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for the call. Appreciate it.
All right. Bye-bye.
Yeah, I do see that part of it, the depopulation. But again, Planned Parenthood, I got that on lock. How many millions of babies die every year at the hands of Planned Parenthood? Okay, and then birth control and stuff like that. I mean, you already have a very low birth rate in this country as it is. Very low birth rate. We're talking like low as the ocean blue. Somebody said that we should stop immigration, like all immigration. But it's like, how you going to do that with a negative birth rate in the country? You need a birth rate of 2.1 for replacement in the West. About 2.3, 2.4 in like undeveloped parts of the world, because, you got to deal with infant mortality rates being higher in undeveloped countries. So 2.1 in the West. We're at about 1.7, 1.6 maybe. Even among white women, it's like 1.4. It's like 1.8, 1.9 among black women. Still not 2.1. Now you bringing in the Guatemalans and whatnot. They got the birth rate like 3, 4, 5 because they're in the poor country, the Catholic, and the birth control. So what are you going to do? That's the actual issue that they don't want to talk about as far as immigration. Now, if you're coming over here illegally, that's a whole different story. That's a whole different thing right there. So I'll digress. Let's get to some more calls. You're in line, I'm speaking to 727.
Hi, this is Tanisha.
All righty, what's going on?
Hey, I just wanted to say that I really enjoy the show. Please excuse me, I have my baby here, but I'm a recent conservative. I was born and raised basically a Democrat just because, that's what my parents were or are. And once I started to develop my own values, I realized that I'm more conservative than anything. Do you have any advice for young people who are coming out of the Democratic Party, but their parents are still in it? And you know how there could be some kind of like, not distress, but discord in the home, when you have two opposing sides.
Okay, now the question is, do you live with your parents?
No, I don't, but I do visit them frequently. And my father, all he does is talk about politics. And so when we start getting into conversations, it can get quite awkward.
I have a policy. I do not talk politics with my family. I don't do it. Like my cousin, my cousin loves to bait me. He always tries to just get me into it, and I refuse. And it's always awkward because everybody knows what I do. Everybody knows who I am. And my cousin would send something out there, and then everybody's looking all awkward, like, oh, what's going to happen? I don't say a word because I just don't do it with my family members because that can't really end well. We disagree on it. Mm-hmm. And beyond that, I love my family, love my cousin, all of them, love all of them. But that right there, to me, it's not worth it to go down that road and have a fight because they're going to think how they think. They're not going to change. They're a grown person, old dog, new tricks, the whole thing. You're not going to change how they think, and you could be the same way. So the question you got to ask yourself is it worth it to have this conversation when we're not going to change? We're just going to argue? I don't even do it.
Right. Well, that's a really good point. Thank you so much. Again, like I said, I really enjoy watching your show. Please keep it up and have a blessed night.
Thank you for the call. I appreciate you.
Mm-hmm. All right. Bye.
All right. Shout out to the caller. Shout out to the baby. ABL love the kids. So he might have heard my voice or she might have heard my voice and calmed down. So shout out to the baby. But no, I mean, really, I don't even really try to do the conversation with my family members on politics. I refuse. I feel it going that way. I'm like, I'll change the subject because it ain't worth it. First of all, you're not going to beat me. You're not going to win the conversation. You're not going to debate with me. You're not going to win a debate with me. I don't care who you are. You could be my grandmama, my auntie, my little nephew, whoever you are. You're not going to debate. I'm going to win a debate. But what's the point in doing that? Why would I argue with my cousin? Why? Okay, I won. Great. Now, what did I get for that? Everybody in family mad at me. Anthony, you had to say all that. It's like, what? He started it. I don't even want to do it. I'll leave him alone. You love Joe Biden. You got a Bernie Sanders sticker on your forehead. You got a, riding with Biden tattoo. You got Obama right here on your chest. All right, cool, man. You got it, man. You want to pay high gas prices? I ain't going to say nothing. When you at the pump trying to donate blood to get some gas, I won't say a word. You got it. Now, if you're on the street and it's just like a random person and we're in a bar, well, a bar might not be a good place. Somebody might try to get crazy, but in a safe environment, I have a debate. But if it's like somebody trying to get violent or it could be a family dispute, I'll leave it alone. Yeah, I done heard that a few times. Anthony, you had to say all that. So I don't even do it. Let's go to a few more. And the number to call is 434. There it is, 434-658-1220. Yes, you matter. Donating blood for gas. Oh man, people are down bad with these gas prices. Like that's a big one people talk about a lot. Let's go to the 480 on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hey,
Hello, what's going on?
hey, ABL. This is Tyler. I'm from Arizona. I've been wanting to call in for a while. I wanted to tell you that I'm a transgender veteran who's a listener of yours, and I wanted to like kind of hit you up with, I mean, I'm trans, but like I don't agree with like any of like the trans kids. I don't agree with like trans people in like women's sports. Like it's not appropriate, and like I just wanted to like kind of let you know that like not all trans people are like crazy, you know.
Well, I'm glad to hear it because I've seen quite a bit of nonsense lately, so I'm glad to hear that. Like I say, if you're an adult, man, do whatever you want to do. I don't care nothing about that's your business. You know, live your life. Do what makes you happy. But then when we, as anybody, as whatever you identify as, I don't care if you're gay, straight, whatever. When we start to infringe upon others' rights, then we got a problem. That's all I say. Let's let everybody have their rights and their freedoms, and that's it.
Yeah, that's America right there.
100%.
Like that's the truth.
Yep.
You know, you know, like since I've been out of the military. I was trained in the military under President Trump's policies, and like all the liberals were crying like, "Oh, it's transphobic. It's like trying to keep trans people out of the military." Like, no, it's not. And like, because I actually like read it up because I was active duty at the time, right? And so I was reading up the order, and it literally says like trans people can be in the military. They just have to be like on their meds for a while because there's so many mental health issues that come from transitioning, right? And like and physical problems that come from transitioning. And like so like for me, like when I first started hormones, I lost like hella muscle mass. I lost like all aerobic capacity. Like I couldn't keep up, and I became non-deployable like immediately. So like literally I became just like an admin worker effectively, which like, yeah, sure. Like the military's got a ton of admin people, like it does. But like, you know, our military is there to kill bad guys, like
Right.
end of the day,
Yeah.
you know? So like for us to, for me to like be able to transition in the military and like looking back, I kind of wish I hadn't. Cause like it was, I mean, I was getting out. So like I was already processed most of the way out just cause my contract was over. But, like somebody should not be transitioning when they have to go to battle, you know, like if I'm training to go to war, like, and I was thinking about this, like I was thinking about getting off of my hormones because I think civil war is coming and I'm like, want to be ready to fight, you know, cause I need that muscle. I need that bone density. I need that, you know, that ability to stand up and fight. Cause like when I'm on hormones, I'm a lot weaker than I used to be. Right. But like, you know, obviously like, you know, civil war's iffy, honestly, like I don't know, but yeah, I just wanted to call in and kind of say that you do have some transgender listeners, and like you know, we're not all like crazy, you know, trans people that are trying to like go and fuck with kids and shit like that. Like,
well, you can't curse. You can't curse, but I get your point though. I mean, I do appreciate the fact that you just seem to be pretty regular, you know. I mean, different lifestyle than I would lead, but you're not going to be on this weird stuff that a lot of the people that I see on television are. So I'm glad you're on that.
Yep. All right. Well, I'll let you go. Thanks for letting me say my piece.
Thank you for the call. I definitely appreciate you.
Oh.
All right. Shout out to the caller. Hey man, like I say, man, do whatever you want to do. You're an adult. What I'm going to say, don't do that. But now when we start violating rights, you can't just say, hey, you know what, I'm this, that, and the third. No, I don't care what you are. You're violating rights, period. You can identify as the honky-tonk man. You can identify as a puff of train smoke, a cloud in the sky, a cigarette butt on the ground, a warm sunny day, a cold night, Mount Everest. I don't care what you identify as, but don't violate my rights. It's very simple. Let's get to the next call here. And the number to call, 434-658-1220. Let's get rocking. 929, you're on the line. I'm speaking to.
Anthony, how are you?
I'm good. How about yourself?
Yes, about the gas flash law, which will benefit the ATF department, have been passed yesterday. And I want to say that they are, I believe there are 57 or more rhinos support that bill.
So what bill was this again?
The Get Flash law, which will benefit the ATF department, have been passed yesterday. Also, 57 or more rhinos support to vote that bill. Sorry.
Okay. Well, that's not a good thing if the bill has things in it that we don't want.
Mm-hmm. And also, I want to mention, I remember from the December 2021, there is also another gas flash law that have been passed, and I believe that there are 153 Republicans vote for that bill. So I watched that on the YouTube name.
I can't hear you.
I watched that news on the YouTuber named Colin Noah.
Yeah, Colin Noir.
Colin Noah.
Yeah, so you're speaking about for the audience, red flag laws, right? Where if they think something's wrong with you, or you may be violent, you may hurt yourself, they can go in your house, take your guns, right?
Yes, and include violent toward women.
Yeah, domestic violence. That's right.
Yes.
Gotcha.
And another gas flash law that passed September 2021 that I just told you, that I watched from the YouTuber named Colin Noah. Well, he is a Black American pro Second Amendment.
Yeah, Second Amendment is definitely under assault with a lot of these bills. They try to chip away at it little by little. The red flag law, magazine restrictions, all kind of stuff that's trying to break away the Second Amendment, which we need to have in this country for freedom from tyrannical government and for simple protection. We got to have it.
Yes, and we need to protect it.
That's right.
Also, there is another bill. I believe it is 2 months or 1 month ago. It is called anti-encryption law. So just so you know that the encryption is a software that protects information data of the individual privacy from the hacker. And guess what? Who passed that anti-encryption law? It is Lindsey Graham, the co-member of the World Economic Forum and a rhino.
So if you guys didn't quite hear it, so Lindsey Graham voted for an anti-encryption law, right?
Yes.
That's crazy, because that's a very important thing to have encryption. There's a lot of apps that rely upon encryption for your security online. Without encryption, it's easy for hackers to get control of you, but even better than that, it's easy for the government to spy on you because there's no encryption.
Yes. And do you know what he claimed? He claimed for the protection of children. I mean, really? For the protection of children?
Oh, for protection.
What
Okay.
are the FBI that they know about Jeffrey Epstein and his pedophile ring long time ago, but they did not do nothing. And what about the CIA department? The CIA department, they had. Oh
Yeah.
yes, they had about. There are apologies of the agent of the CIA sexual abuse children. And guess what happened to them? Nothing. They just get fired. And I know that from watch Steven Crowder video.
Yeah, you're right about that. You're 100% correct.
Yes. So the thing what we must do right now is spread out the word and hold those rhinos or also the co-member of the World Economic Forum, hold them accountable. And
That's
also push the Republicans to be American first and pro our Constitution republic, not democracy.
That's right. Absolutely. Well, thank you for your call. I definitely appreciate you.
So, all right. So I will see you next week, and let's go, Brandon.
There you go. Thank you for the call. Let's go, Brandon. All right. Shout out to the caller. Yeah, right on point. I didn't even know that about Lindsey Graham. You voting against encryption. So he says it's like, so Lindsey Graham, I guess the logic was he wants to protect children with the anti-encryption thing. But see, the problem is, like you're gonna the other side of that, you're gonna be able to spy on people a lot easier. You know, it's easier for people to get hacked and stuff like that. You know, they can hack baby monitors. Like people, you're not thinking very deep. He just wants to have more of a government overreach. Okay, let's go to 205 on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hey, ABL, this is Shalisha. How are you?
I'm well. About yourself?
I'm good. Thank you. I just wanted to call. One of your callers had called in and she wanted to ask how should she handle being a conservative in a Democratic family. And I wanted to call in to speak to her because that is me. And so my advice to you, if you're still listening, is to be yourself. And so as I know, I'm the only conservative. I'm a Christian conservative, and I'm the only one in my entire family. And when I found out that I was a conservative, I was a little bit nervous because I was kind of wondering how my family will take it. So as you know, Democrats, they're very closed-minded people, not to be insulting, but if you don't agree with their point of views and their perspectives and their beliefs, you're their enemy. And so I was kind of concerned about how my family would treat me after, coming out that I'm a conservative, after finding that out. And so just over time, I just kind of inched myself and just kind of let them know, like, my stance politically. And that really gave me confidence to just be me. And now they know that I'm a conservative. And so my advice to you is just be who you are. You have the right to be conservative. You have a right to be whatever you are. And just because someone disagrees with your political views doesn't mean that you should change them. And so that is my advice to her. Just be you. It's okay to be a conservative. It's okay to think differently. It's okay. And you don't have to compromise just because someone else doesn't think it's okay. So just be yourself.
Well, there you have it. So how do you do with conversations and arguments and whatnot? Do you engage in it or do you just try to diffuse it? Like, how do you handle that part of it?
Well, I do engage. And so my thing of it is, if you know what you're talking about, talk about it. But if you don't know what you're talking about, you might want to stay out of that conversation because you may get dominated if you're not confident and if you don't have the knowledge on the topic that's being discussed. But if you know your stuff, if you know what you're talking about, talk about it and talk about it respectfully. But if you have types of people where it may get out of hand, they may be disrespectful, it may go left, then don't discuss it at all. You kind of have to use your judgment. But if you're confident in what you know, if you're confident in your stance politically, talk about it. But you have to use that judgment, and you probably can't talk about politics with everybody because everyone takes it differently. But if you can sit down with some open-minded people and have a heated debate without anyone getting into a physical fight, then fine. That's fine if you can handle that. But do what you can handle is what I'm saying. And so that's what I do. If I'm having a political conversation with someone that I know that they may disagree, but, you know, they're not going to hate me at the end of the day, that's fine. But if it's going to cause strife, physical violence and all of that, you may just want to stay away from that. So it's just best to use your judgment. But if you can engage in these conversations and you're confident and you know what you know, go ahead, speak it. Just talk about it. It's fine. But, you know, you just have to know when to talk about it and when to be silent.
Well, there you have it. Makes sense to me.
All right. Thank you, ABL.
Thank you for the call. Appreciate it.
You too. Bye-bye.
All right, there you have it. You know, everybody deals with things and how they're going to do with it. But see, me, I get super aggressive when I debate. I'm talking about, like, it gets super aggressive. And, you know, I don't want nobody to start crying. You know, because I've had that happen before. You're being so mean. Look, I'm going to just fall back. But everybody's different, though, you know. Let's go to the next one here. Let's go. All righty. You online? Speaker to 727.
Hey, ABL, what's going on?
Ain't too much, man. What's happening?
Shout out to the other 727 caller that called in earlier. I just wanted to get your take. I kind of joined in a little late on the live stream, but I just wanted to get your take on the ESPN LGBTQ plus moment of silence they had for the quote, "Don't say gay bill," unquote, during the WNBA national championship. So, you know, 3 people are probably watching that. But anyways, what do you think about having a moment of silence? I feel like that's a little bit disrespectful for actual moments of silence when people die. I don't see how a moment of silence goes in on this situation. But I don't know if you already talked about that. It just seemed very odd to me. You know, ESPN's already owned by Disney, obviously. So you already know stuff's going to be going on. I'm surprised they're not saying LeBron's bisexual. But just what's your opinion on all that?
I mean, just ridiculous ESPN nonsense. The same stuff that I've been seeing for a long time. They've been a sinking ship for many, many years. This is why they suck. I mean, I cannot stand ESPN. If it's a basketball game on and I really want to watch it, but it's on ESPN, I'm going to do whatever I can to avoid anything that's just not the game. If I hear the guys in the background talking on ESPN, I try to tune it out. I try to avoid it at all costs. I definitely wouldn't just watch SportsCenter ever. I used to watch it all the time when I was a kid, like in the morning before I go to school, like it was news. But I never watch that show now because it's just too woke. It's too ridiculous. And that whole thing with the moment of silence, really what that says to me is that they can't touch kids anymore.
Yeah, it's just very odd to me. I mean, I'm a big sports fan, and yes, on cable TV is the biggest thing for sports right now. So it's very unfortunate. But I appreciate you accepting the call, and have a great rest of your day. All right.
Thank you for the call, man. Appreciate it.
Yep.
Yeah, like a moment of silence is like, really? Is that what we're doing? Come on. Why? What's the purpose? I don't understand. They their purpose. I don't get it. Let's get some more here. Let's go to 918. You're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hey, ABL. It's JB Scott from Oklahoma. How you doing, buddy?
Everything's all good. About yourself?
Pretty good, man. Just enjoying the show as usual. But yeah, I wanted to kind of comment on that last lady that called in and the one before that, talking about how, you know, dealing with their family who have different political views and such, you know. And thankfully, I don't have a lot of family, you know. You know, I don't have any grandparents left, or, you know, I got a couple of brothers and my mom, and we all, you know, pretty much agree on politics. But anyway, I wanted to bring up something different because I'm also a video gamer, and I play online a lot. And I've made some really good friendships with people from all over the country, all over the world, actually. You know, really good friends. And there was one who was transgender from California. And this was during the whole BLM riots and pandemic, just during that crazy time in America, you know. But we were good friends. Like, we would talk on the phone and just talk about anything. And then there was one time in a game, you know, it was Grand Theft Auto Online, you know, I love playing that game, you know, where it came up in the chat and I mentioned that I was a Trump supporter, and she just instantly canceled me, like, just like that. Even though we were friends for like over 6-7 months. But once she found that out, that I liked Trump, it was like, nope, done with you. So yeah, even conservatives, we got to worry about discrimination. You know, it's crazy.
Oh yeah, that definitely does happen a lot. You know, but when that kind of thing happens, I'm like, you know, what kind of person was that really? If they're just going to just cancel you right away because of your political affiliation, you know what I mean? That's not really a good person.
No. And it sucked too. It really sucked because, like I said, I considered them a good friend. I never met them, but, you know, we could talk and about anything. And yeah, then I am an old gamer. I've been playing since the 80s, so I see what people are saying. You know?
Oh, it's all good.
Yeah, I know. But no, I'm just saying, yeah, even conservatives, you know, we can try to be really nice people, but yeah, you know, people on the other side, they will discriminate against us, you know, just based on politics.
Oh yeah, they definitely will. That does happen a lot.
Yeah. But anyway, that's all I got to say. I'm enjoying all the other calls tonight, but I just thought I'd throw that out there, you know.
Well, thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate it.
All right, man. Have a good night, buddy.
Same to you. Yeah, man, that happens. You know, people just, you know, y'all be cool and everything's fine, and all of a sudden, oh, you support Trump, you're a conservative. Oh, I'm out of here. That happens. I've had that happen a lot. People in my regular life, but it's like, if that happens, then what kind of person were you? Were you a friend? Were you just there, just kind of taking up space? Like, what's really going on? Let's get to some more here. All right. Let's go to, hold on. The phone calls are coming in. Let's get to this one here. 201, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
What's going on? This is Manny.
All right. What's happening?
What's going on? Hey, thanks for taking my call. Sorry, I got a delay over here, so I didn't realize that you had an answer. But hey, listen, I just want to talk about the Ukraine situation, and more specifically about the representatives in Congress and how they're engaged in trading and profiting off of the war in Ukraine. Excuse me. Are you familiar with that situation?
Well, I've seen quite a few things that that's been talked about as far as the war profiting. I've definitely seen that.
And, more specifically, it's on both sides of the aisle. It's not just Republicans and the neocons. It's the Democrats as well. And, I think this is a bigger problem for the country because, the country's torn apart on domestic policy. But when it comes to foreign affairs, they're like on the same side of the coin.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure exactly who's doing what, but I know that there's a problem in the government. I know one thing, that a lot of people in the government on both sides are definitely advocating for war in Ukraine, which I can't really figure that out. I don't really understand what's the purpose of that, but yeah, that's definitely a thing.
And then, the one thing I'd like to point out too is when Trump was in office, but actually prior to him becoming president, he talked about Iraq and Saddam, Gaddafi and Libya, and how the world would actually have been better off if they actually were not taken out of power and killed. And, since they died, you have Libya as a mess, Iraq is a mess. You have a similar issue going on in Syria. And, it's best for us just not to intervene. And, it's a little bit worrisome when you see all these politicians, being so pro help Ukraine. They're just profiting off all of the all of the missiles that they're sending, the anti-tank, anti-air missiles. It's like they know it's a sinking ship. We're just throwing taxpayer money at this, into a fire. They know that ultimately they're going to crumble to Russia, and it's just going to cause, it's going to cause a greater problem if we get involved. Same thing if we are to send MiGs to Ukraine. It's all, it almost seems like a game, and they're playing chess with people's lives and taxpayer money.
Yeah, that's kind of what it seems like to me as well. But, I think a lot of them are just trying to make money. They don't really care too much about any of that. It just in it for themselves, unfortunately.
Yep. But that's all I got, man. I really appreciate you taking my call. Love the show. But yeah, that's it.
Thank you for the call, man. Appreciate it.
All right. Have a good one.
All right. Shout out to the caller. Good call. Let's get to some more. Let's go to 717 on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hey, ABL Moses, how you doing tonight?
It's all good, man. What's happening?
It's all good. It's all good. So, speaking of Lia Thomas, did you see who the Woman of the Year is?
I saw, what was that? What was it? I forget the person's name, but I can picture their face. Kind of look like
it's Rachel, or his name is actually Richard. Richard Levine is actually the Woman of the Year. It's so disgusting, man.
Oh yeah, I did see that. Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, go ahead. You go ahead.
Yeah, I thought about Penguin from Batman when I originally, and then I heard the name. I'm like, okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Penguin from Batman. That was a good one, man. I'm weak because that made me weak, man. But anyways, that is so disgusting. Like, we have so many good women around here. Like, the first woman that comes to mind is Candace Owens. Heck, even Kayleigh McEnany. Why aren't they like the Woman of the Year? Especially Candace Owens, who is really a great voice for conservatives. I'm not knocking you, but she is a really great voice. She has a good platform, and she's really trying to look out for every one of us in the conservative circle. So I just don't get why they're trying to delete women or trying to delete the nuclear family. Like, what's the purpose? I don't know. And I'm very tired of us sending aid to Ukraine when we should be taking care of America first. If we can't even take care of our own country, why should we be taking care of someone else's country?
That's right. 100% correct.
Yeah. So until I see borders closed, until I see inflation, I'm not donating a dime to Ukraine. God bless them. I pray for them, but they shouldn't suffer, but they have to look to their leader for help. But quite frankly, they can't look up to us for help. But that's all I'm going to say, man. God bless you. God bless everybody in the chat. And have a great night, ABL.
Thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate it.
Appreciate you. Bye-bye.
All right. Shout out to the caller. Yeah, I froze up a little bit. I don't know what's going on. And it's weird. Like, when I refreshed the back end, I came back. So I don't know what happened. My internet, hey, I promise I paid the bill. I don't know what's going on. It's just weird. And I'm connected through the hard wire. And I got hardwire, like I hardwired my house for this. You understand? So I'm right connected to the wall. Ain't no Wi-Fi going on. It's just weird. It's just really weird. I don't know what's happening, but hopefully we don't get disconnected. Man, that might be the white man messing with me. Who knows? 314 on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hello.
Yes, who am I speaking to?
Hey, my name is Nick. Sorry about that. It was a slight delay.
All right, man. What's happening?
Yeah, so I'm sorry?
I said, what's going on?
Oh yeah, man. I'm a big fan. I've been watching you for a while now. And I just want to say that I really like you crack me up with some of the things you say, like white, black, Puerto Rican candy stripe, and just stuff like that. Like you go, oh, big rocks, little rocks. Like, I just find that stuff really funny. But I wanted to talk about this is kind of related to the transgender stuff, but I want to talk about like the mental health issue in America. Okay. So like 1 in 4 Americans is on some sort of a psychiatric drug. And if they're under 30, it's like half. And a lot of, like, I feel like this is really not addressed well, because in my mind, what it is basically our soil is pretty much trash. Like, we've been throwing, nitrogen, potassium, magnesium on this stuff for 100 years, and pretty much there's no more minerals. So like for me, I'm 21 years old, and I dropped out of college because, well, there's like several reasons. I had an illness, but like there was just a lot of ridiculousness, even like before the pandemic. And I just noticed there's just like mental illness everywhere with like millennials and Gen Z. And like, for example, like if you go on like Tinder or something like that, like, I'm not going to get into that, but my whole point is you see a lot of them, it's always like they, them, and like neon hair. It'll be like they, them, liberal, atheist, which is whatever, but you get what I'm saying. It's just like an extreme amount. And in my mind, like, I don't have any issue with people who are gay or trans. I have friends that are gay. But in my mind, I don't think transgenderism is normal. I think it's different than homosexuality, because like, I don't know, I've never seen like a transgender dog. You get what I'm saying? Like, everybody's like, oh yeah, that's my gay dog Bucky, but like nobody, like, I think they're a little bit different. But anyway, what I'm trying to get at is that, like, for example, 100 years ago, an orange had like 8 times the amount of micronutrients. And this stuff is really important. I mean, you talk about like half of Americans have vitamin D deficiency, 40 to 90% have magnesium deficiency, 90% omega-3. And it's like, this is what your body is made out of. Like, diet does play a role, but it's also part of the soil. Like, there's definitely a lot of people who just choose to eat poorly. And I don't know. I think like a lot of issues could be solved if that was it. Because, like, for example, you take the gun debate, right? And you have all these people that say, oh, well, we need to do this and that to guns. We need to take your guns. Like, they want to ban or they want to call grease traps suppressors. They want to make pistol braces AOWs, all this other stuff. Like, they just passed the bill that was in the Ukraine thing, where basically, like, if you fail the background check, which 90% of the time it's just a mistake by the FBI, if you fail that, now you're getting criminally investigated. And just like all this other stuff, it's a bunch of nonsense. But like, you ask yourself, what are the causes? And I think like, if the conservative movement wants gain even more, like, I know that conservatives are in a really good place right now because they're like 11 points up, but November's a way away, and that's only one election. And I just think like, we don't have to give up some of our values, but I think there could be a little bit of a change towards that, because like, you take the mental health thing, like for example, I used to struggle with a lot of depression and stuff, right? I had some issues. I actually had a chronic infection that put me in the hospital, but that's a different story. Anyway, I'm doing really good right now. And I know lots of people, it's just stuff like that. I don't know. You get what I'm saying?
There's a lot to be said there, but there's basically, I think, to sum it on up, there's quite a few things we need to look at, and not just, we shouldn't be just singularly minded. We need to look at things in a more broad sense. Is that kind of what you're getting at?
What do you mean? Oh, so you're saying what I'm saying, basically?
Yeah, like we got to kind of zoom out and look at things in a broader sense.
Well, yeah. I mean, like, it's a lot of stuff. Like for example, like, I'm going to be straight up. I consider myself a right-leaning moderate. So I do have some liberal views. I'm not going to talk about those, but I think like family values, the nuclear family is the ideal. I think capitalism is inherently good. It might need to be curbed a little bit in certain areas, but overall, like, I'm not a socialist. Like for example, like, I think that these big pharma CEOs, like, when they produce a drug that they intentionally kill millions of people or disfigure people, I think that they should be held criminally liable.
Right.
They should have to serve that sentence. Like, so it's still a capitalistic model, but like just stuff like that, they need to have consequences. Like they can't just get off scot-free with the shell company or something like that. You know, you kind of get what I'm saying, but like I'm all over the place, so I'm like losing track. But like, for example, another thing is like.
Well, sorry, caller. I'm sorry, caller. Listen, I'm sorry, but I got my calls on line. I thank you for your call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
You get what I'm saying, though?
I got you, man. Thank you for the call. I appreciate you.
All right.
All right. Shout out to the caller. Let's get to a few more here. All right, Matt, what's going on?
Anthony, how you doing?
Oh, it's all good, man. Can't complain.
Hey, do you think anybody will be held accountable for the Biden family dealings in Ukraine?
I don't believe so.
I don't believe so either. I think it's pretty much impossible.
I mean, because it was already known before. Like the FBI had the laptop in 2019 and didn't even say anything. They said nothing. And he had James Comey on TV doing interviews talking about, oh, it's Russian propaganda when they had it the whole time. So no.
Are you of the opinion that pretty much all the systems are broken?
I don't know about broken. I say the federal government is, but I'm not really sure about like local, but federal definitely has a problem.
Yeah, like list it. Like, is the post office working? Is the military working? Is the Senate working? Is the House working? Is the Supreme Court working? I see absolutely no system in place that can actually right the ship.
So you think it's just like beyond repair? There's no hope?
Yeah. There's some, it's kind of like the time for a Hail Mary pass. Are you familiar with this Vernon Jones, this Democrat turned Republican in Georgia?
Yes.
Did you hear about his plan he's going to name Donald Trump president, or excuse me, president of the House. So basically Speaker of the House in 2022.
He's going to name him Speaker of the House?
You can name non-House members Speaker.
But what does that mean,
This
though?
is why the Democrats are trying to push through a bill, even though I think it would need to be a constitutional amendment. But you can name anybody Speaker of the House in the House of Representatives. It doesn't have to be a congressman.
I mean, but how does that work? So, like, if he just says, okay, Trump's the Speaker, he becomes the Speaker, how does that work?
Well, so he'd have to whip for it. So basically, the way that would work is he'd name him Speaker, and then it would be basically a referendum on the Republican Party, because there's going to be a red wave that comes through, and every Republican will be basically called to the carpet to say, are you with Trump or not with Trump? And it would be a public vote on it, yes or no. And with Trump being Speaker of the House, the plan is to immediately file articles of impeachment against Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. And the plan behind that would be that Donald Trump would immediately become president should the articles of impeachment follow through.
Yeah, I'm not sure how that will really operate in reality.
Never happened before, but it's basically, in my opinion, the only Hail Mary pass possible. I do not see the Justice Department. I mean, like Rudy Giuliani, and I'm not talking just at the federal level. I mean, at the state level, Rudy Giuliani was subpoenaed. He had a warrant to seize every electronic device in his apartment, and the one thing that they didn't take was Hunter Biden's laptop. And this is by the state of Delaware. So he went down to Delaware and turned it over to the police department to say, hey, there's kiddie stuff on here.
Right.
So there's absolutely no system that's prepared. It's gonna take like a plan that Vernon Jones has, or a complete breakup of the United States, like in some sort of revolution.
I don't see that happening.
No, I don't see that happening. So I want to talk about that. Zelensky, about how people will say something to the effect of how Zelensky is Jewish, so there is a Nazi problem. You know, I tried to make the argument for Bashir al-Assad, who Assad is a dictator, but he's not Muslim, and he's the head of a very, you know, there's a lot of extremist Muslims in Syria. And I don't understand how they're recycling these old arguments that Zelensky's Jewish. Well, yeah, the Nazis, you know, basically helped overthrow the government in 2014. And there's been fighting going on there since 2014. They're a minority contingent in the Ukraine, but it's a contingency that Ukraine did not get a hold of. I mean, you could look at BLM support in the United States, and you know, if you basically took BLM and made them a lot more radical than what they were, burning cities down and that sort of thing, the Azov battalion did the same thing. And it doesn't matter that the president was Jewish. It doesn't matter that the United States had a president that was black. In the Ukraine, unlike in the United States, the National Guard is kind of like its own branch of government. And here we have a commander in chief. Over there, you know, in countries that aren't ironically as well functioning as ours, because I mean ours is heading that way, but their president doesn't have control over their military in the same way that we do. And they haven't cracked down on basically ethnic infighting that's been going on in between the Jewish Russian nationals that are in the Donbas region and the Azov battalion. So the fighting has been going on for 8 years now, or was it 2000? Yeah, 8 years now. So this isn't a new thing, and just because Russian dropped the gauntlet, now everybody cares. And maybe that Joy Reid is right. Maybe we all care because the Ukrainians are white people, whereas the Yemenis are not.
Now, what's going on is we care because it's Russia involved, because people talk about, oh, this is Europe. It never happens. It never happens in Europe. If you pick up like Yugoslavia in the 90s and World War I, World War II, and we forgot about those wars. We forgot about the Holocaust and all that kind of stuff that happened in Europe. I mean, it's because of Putin. That's what it is. We don't really care about nothing else. We cared about Afghanistan when that happened because how embarrassing it was on a national stage, and they weren't white. It's about Putin, really. They don't care about Ukraine because they didn't care about Ukraine when they were getting, like you're talking about, in the Donbass. They didn't care about that fighting for the past 8 years. They didn't care about Crimea when that got taken in 2014. But we care now because Vladimir Putin's involved with the war in Ukraine. That's all.
It might be just oil too. I mean, I agree with what you're saying. I mean, Putin didn't get involved in Syria until the very end. And ironically, Putin basically created the armistice that prevented the war in Syria from going on, prevented us from getting involved by negotiating with Bashir al-Assad. I think it is. I mean, they wanted a natural gas pipeline to go through Syria, and they want another Saudi-based natural gas pipeline to go up through Ukraine. And it's because Germany, ironically, wanted windmills and solar panels, and they've neutered themselves from a domestic energy production standpoint. And we're doing the same thing. We're importing Russian oil. We're going to go talk to Venezuela, for crying out loud. And the Canadians are all mad at us now because like the Keystone was shut down, and they're like, we've got oil. You know, you don't have to go to South America, to a failed state, to get it.
Right on, man.
Hey, I appreciate you. Your show is fantastic, and we're so stupid to support Ukraine. It's crazy. Be good, man.
Thank you for the call. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, Ukraine, the propaganda is real, and it's all about Putin. Putin's war. Putin did this. Putin did that. Putin is the reason why I got up on the wrong side of the bed. Putin is the reason why I got a corn on my big toe. Putin. That's really what it's about. They don't care about Ukraine. They couldn't care less about Ukraine. They're over there harassing Ukrainians that like have Russian names. You know what I'm saying? Like, because of Putin. It's called xenophobia. Like, xenophobia is permitted if you don't like the person. If you because you don't like Vladimir Putin because of what the government and the media have told you, then it's okay to be xenophobic. That's what's going on here. Point blank. Let's go to the next one. All right, let's go. 862, you on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hey, my name is John. Longtime listener of Mr. Logan, and I'm actually calling in from Taiwan. Wanted to talk more about the outlook.
Hello, are you there?
Oh, hey, Mr. Logan. Nice to meet you.
Likewise. So what's going on? Talking about Taiwan?
Yeah, I'm actually here in Taiwan right now, and obviously we have Ukraine going on, and I think I'm just more worried about U.S. foreign policy at the current state. Currently, Taiwan is doing very well with COVID, and economically, it's pretty all right, and everybody's pretty peaceful. But we do have this looming threat of, a clock from China possibly invading. I guess I just wanted to get your take on, the outlook for not only U.S. foreign policy, but for domestic policy, because I always think about going back to the States, especially after Afghanistan, there's a scare. But going back to the States, it seems like everything is quite in disarray and in chaos, especially in the New York area, where I'm from, with the homeless and the crime rate and everything. And anyways, just wanted to get your 2 cents on the overall outlook of how things are going for foreign policy for the U.S. and for U.S. domestically.
Well, foreign policy is not very good right now because we have made moves that don't give us strength internationally. So we can't really dictate too much of what happens in the world. In my humble opinion, things are going on without the U.S. There's alliances being built that the U.S. aren't really involved in. There's a lot going on between China and Russia, Iran. They want to build an alliance together. Saudi Arabia wants to do their own thing. They're trying to kind of like move beyond the U.S. to a certain extent. They can't really move beyond us all the way, but they want what they see as kind of a declining power. So they want to build alliances in the East rather than dealing with the West as much as they had been before. And now, as far as China and Taiwan, I mean, I think China may see what's happening with Ukraine and decide to go ahead and try to invade. But I'm not really sure if they're going to do that because there could be penalties that are more severe than they would gain from Taiwan. But at the same time, if they don't think that the penalties will be able to be enforced, like, for instance, one thing that the U.S. has done is try to sanction Russia, and a lot of U.S. companies backed out of Russia. But the thing with China, obviously, the U.S. companies don't really have a lot of footprint there beyond production. And if you move production out of China, where are you going to produce? You can't just say, okay, there's no more Apple in China. Whereas Apple, as far as, Apple really being the mainstay thing beyond the production. Whereas the Facebook, Google, it doesn't really exist in China. So they have more leverage than Russia has to be able to deal with an invasion. And even Russia having less leverage, they still were able to invade Ukraine. So if China wanted to invade Taiwan, I think they might be able to, but I'm not really sure what the consequences would be beyond any kind of sanctions. I don't think anybody would pick a war with China. I don't see that happening. What I see, if they want to take Taiwan, they probably would do it, unfortunately.
All right, thank you. I'm sorry, there's a lot of echo going on from my connection. Anyways, keep up the good work, and I appreciate you.
Thank you for the call. Appreciate you. Yeah, so shout out to the caller. I mean, hopefully China doesn't just go take Taiwan like that, but I don't see where there wouldn't really be a deterrent from them doing that. You understand? There really wouldn't be a deterrent. Okay, I have a Skype caller that wants to call in. Just go ahead and call me. Just go ahead and call in. Just call the email on Skype. It's fine. I don't want to say your name. I don't know if you want that name to be out there. But yeah, just calling the show is fine. But I can't type back to you when I'm on the show, so let's just do it that way. 215 in the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hey, how's it going, ABL?
It's all good, man. What's happening?
Yeah, hey, I wanted to get your opinion. I'm gonna tell you, I wanted to get your opinion. What is your opinion on global warming and all that kind of stuff? Like, you probably think it's real, right?
No, I don't actually. I don't believe in global warming.
You don't?
No.
Oh, you mind me asking why? I don't mean to interrogate you.
Because I feel like we don't know enough to make that assertion that man is making the earth warmer. And also, just by what I've observed over my lifetime, when I was a kid, when I was a kid, it was called global warming. But before I was born, it was called global cooling. And now it's simply referred to as climate change, because you have differences in the sun, differences in the earth and weather patterns and whatnot. Things like El Nino, La Nina, all kind of things happen all over the world. To try and say something like global warming, in my opinion, is a way for it's a way to kind of like get money. It's not really a real thing.
Yeah, because the main thing they say because people use up because all the carbon emission, all the polar ice caps are melting, and basically because they say from all the gas and oil that's being produced, and somebody told me that gas and oil is becoming limited. We're running out of a lot of gas and oil. Do you even believe that?
Well, I don't know what the supply of oil and gas is on the earth. I have no idea. I have no way of being able to know that. And I don't think they know either, because we've not explored all of the earth and all of the ways to be able to extract oil and gas. So I don't know that answer. But as far as carbon emission, that's all bogus, because what happens is we pass regulation here in the States against carbon emission. Same thing in like Western Europe. All they do is just ship that stuff over to China and Eastern Europe. So rather than us producing it here, they produce it over there. It goes to the same atmosphere and the same planet. So what's the purpose? And just shifting it. We just don't see it right where we are, but it's still happening on the planet. So that's all bogus, just to try and get money.
Yeah, that's what I figured over the years. I figured that's all it was about, really. And most people believe the global warming. But I look at it this way. They say, well, the sea levels are rising because all the polar ice caps are melting. What's your thoughts on that? I'm curious. The polar ice caps melt.
Yeah, I don't think so. I think that there's a lot more ice and whatnot than there was before. It's talking about glaciers breaking. That happens. They're not going to always be the same. You know, glaciers can break, and you can always form new glaciers. There's been differences in the earth over the years. You've had ice ages, and the ice age ended, so it had to get real hot. That was before any kind of carbon emission from factories and combustion engines and things of that nature. So the earth goes through changes, the sun changes, the universe changes. To be so arrogant to believe that man is the cause for all these things is pretty ridiculous, in my opinion.
Exactly. That's all I'm saying, because this is not the first time the earth has gotten really hot or really cold or sea levels rose, but then the sea levels eventually fall. They don't stay risen forever. Because I remember back then I was watching a documentary. I don't know if you ever heard of Walking with Dinosaurs, but that happened. When the sea levels was rose, at one point the planet was covered, I think it was 70% water, and it was just only one mass of land. So sea animals dominated the planet. I don't know if it's 70% water, but it was just ocean everywhere. There's rarely any land. Then a few million years later, the more land started to appear. So the planet goes through changes a lot.
Right, exactly.
Every time people hate it. I don't want to take up most of your time, but people hate it when I bring up the dinosaurs. But I need to make my point more clear. It's like the planet goes through changes. That's just all it is. Climate change, that's just that's a circle of life. That's just Mother Nature, period. It's nothing. I mean, I heard on PragerU, if the sea levels rise, won't they build taller walls? They could build a taller wall.
I mean, at the end of the day, like a lot of people, they build cities right on the sea level, like right at the ocean. And then if there's a flood, they're surprised. It's like at a certain point, we got to just be kind of logical. But thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
All right. Thank you. Have a good one, ABL.
Same to you. All right, Skype caller, who am I speaking to?
Hey, ABL. My name is Sergey. I'm from Moscow, Russia. I'm a long-time viewer, first-time caller. How are you today?
I'm great. How about yourself?
Fine, thank you. I'm glad you took my call over Skype because calling over cellular is, well, costly, especially with the new exchange rates between ruble, Russian ruble, and the US dollar. And I wanted to talk about a couple of things. First, about the Ukraine war, and the second, about the real reason you have the inflation, and we have the inflation. Can you go on, please?
I'm here. I'm listening to you. You're good.
Thank you, Anthony. Now, first about the Ukraine war. I thank you for, well, a reasonable, view on it, because it's not just a local war for Russia, but it's a civil war for us. And it's really the continuation of the civil war started 100 years ago, literally 100 years ago, after the 1917 revolution. And it's kind of internal conflict for us. But as a Russian, calling from Russia, I wanted to tell, tell the Ukrainian people, we don't hate you. We don't. It's kind of like like taking out your dirty underwear, but it's a hard. It's like basically Russia to Ukraine is what Middle America is to the Texas. Basically, Texans, Texans see like everything is bigger in Texas and everything is bigger in the Ukraine. But, it's one thing when you're seeing it from the outside, but the whole other thing when you see it from the inside.
Okay, I understand. So, I mean, from what I know, Russians and Ukrainians ethnically are the same. Is that correct?
Very close. Yes.
Okay. So, like, what is the... Okay, here's a question I have for you. Now, a lot of the mainstream media, they say that Russians have no idea what's going on. They're kept in the dark by Vladimir Putin. They don't even know what's the war going on right now in Ukraine. Is that true or is that false?
Well, first, I can only speak for myself and maybe for some of my friends. And let me tell you, I was born in 1982. So, first, I would say there's a real difference between sort of millennials born in the 90s. Now, in the US, as far as I can see, the 90s were the pinnacle, the best times. Well, basically, you were going upwards up until the 9/11. Now, in Russia, it was the whole other thing. Now, people who were born in the 90s here, well, the 90s here were kind of the trouble times. As they say in Ireland, the troubles. Now, I was born in the early 80s, and the way I see it, well, I'm turning 40 this year. And the way I and people who are closer to 40, you were born, as far as I understand, in the late 80s, in like 87. And, we are sort of like adults here. Well, adult people understand that, let me put it this way. And that's basically the reason I, as a political science major, as someone who's interested in the US, was particularly interested in the black population, or as they call you, POC, or people of color. Now, you should understand one thing, that the Russian government and the Russian people are not the same. And the way I'm putting it is, the way as black people in the USA understand that the US government don't always and doesn't really usually act in the interest of the black people. Now the same is kind of with Russia, because you see the Russian government and Putin in particular, and the previous president Medvedev and the President Putin and the previous president Yeltsin, who was the US puppet, don't usually act in our nation interest. Now, having said that, I would like to say that as a sort of an adult in here, because, turning 40, I'm almost an adult. Let me put it this way. I believe in God. I believe in God more than I believe in some made-up concepts like time or gravity. And the way I see it is the result of the war can be defined, can be devised only by God. And from my perspective, as a civilian, as a non-army man, what I can do is to pray for our soldiers. Now, having said that, what I want you to take out of this is that Putin is like once in a million years acting for me as a Russian. Now, I understand that black people is like 13% of the US population, while Russians are 82% of the Russian population. And well, it's a hard question. What I want you to take out of this, it's a very much internal conflict. And as much as Ukrainians tend to hate Russians, like really despise us.
Okay, hold on, caller, hold on. I gotta just kind of get you.
Yes.
I gotta square you in on the because my question to you was about the information that Russians are getting. Do you guys know what's going on? Because the Americans, what we hear is that you guys don't know what's happening in Ukraine. You think that there's no war. Is that true or is that not true?
No, it's absolutely not. At the same time, we don't believe our government, and we are used to not believing our government.
So you guys often go and find alternative sources, just like us in America. When we hear something from the government, we're not going to believe it. We go and find what the truth is. And do you think that some people still believe in the government, or is it that the majority of you guys don't believe in the government?
I can't really say. From my perspective, from my personal perspective, from what I see with people I'm in direct contact with my family, my friends, and the sort of what my friends tell me about their friends. The adult people who were born in the 80s, well, we understand that our government lies to us, but we don't see the government as the enemy. It's just as kind of the other player. Basically, the way I see it, okay, let me put it this way. All those people you see protesting like for what we call the peace, but it's really like putting the knife in the back of Russia, is people who were born in the 90s. And people who were born in the 90s here are absolutely different from people who were born in the 90s in the United States. I mean, two major differences. First, where while in the United States, you don't have less people born in the 90s than people born in the 80s. In Russia, it's quite the opposite. 90s were bad times. So, people who are sort of like young adults, but not as adult as people turning 40, as I am. Look, basically, we know the government is lying to us, and we're acting accordingly. So, like, we're kind of like black people in the US in the sense that the government is not our friend, but in this case, for some reason, they're acting as if they are. I'm sorry. Maybe you can ask some further questions.
Okay,
I'm sorry, ABL.
Okay.
It's really hard questions, and after we talk about that, I wanted to jump.
Well, I don't have much time. I got time for one more question. Then I got to wrap it up because we're at the end of the show actually. So I got one more question, and the question would be, what do you think the outcome of this war should be, in your opinion?
Well, let me put it this way. What I really want, I want to put to say as a sort of personal thing, because that's basically between me and the God. But what I wanted to talk about is that the real reason for the inflation you have in US, in all around the world, basically. And the real reason is the money printer that suddenly went brrr sometimes in 2021. Basically, the Fed, the Federal Reserve System, the FRS, is the reason for the inflation. And while I wanted to say one more thing, the information you got from the news about the inflation rates in Russia is referring to the exchange rate between the United States dollar and the Russian ruble. Yes, the United States dollar is cost twice what it cost like 2 weeks ago. But I don't need the US dollar. We don't need US dollar. We don't, warm ourselves with the US dollar. Now, although according to the US dollar, to the ruble inflation is very high, the prices in the store for the food I put on my table, they grew up somewhat less than the inflation numbers we got from the US according to
so basically
the media.
So basically the ruble is not tied to the US dollar.
It is when you want to buy the US dollar, but I don't need the US dollar. And now that the borders are closed, I don't really need it because I cannot pay with the US dollar, and I don't really need it. And to be honest, I personally don't have as much trust in US dollar as many people had. So in the late November 2021, I bought not dollars, I bought euros because there is you understand.
Yes.
So yes, if you want to buy dollars are very expensive. Like a month ago, a dollar costed 60 rubles. Now it's more than 100. But when I go to the store to buy eggs, to buy milk, to buy meat, to buy any groceries, basically, they grew up like 7%.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense. Makes a lot of sense. Well, thank you for the call. I have no more time, but I thank you for the call. This is very, very informative. Thank you.
Thank you, ABL. Have a good time. Bye-bye.
That's a very good call. So basically, the inflation, if you're trying to buy dollars in rubles, that's going to be expensive because of the money printing that we did, which made our dollar become, get weird. But over there's a slight inflation, but not like this tremendous thing they're trying to say when you compare the ruble to the dollar. Makes a lot of sense. All right, so that will be a wrap for me. If you couldn't get on tonight, I'm sorry. Please blame the white man. It's not my fault. But I'll be back live again on Wednesday, of course, 8 p.m. Eastern to 11 p.m. Eastern. And, of course, I'm here every 6 days a week, normally putting out videos about whatever is hot. If you have any tips, any questions, any concerns, please email me at contact@anthonyblogan.com. I read your guys' emails about the chat, and it's back. So, I'm definitely reading your emails. I definitely respond to you guys. So thank you. But I got super chats to read right quick, and then I'm wrapping on up, put the bowl clean on top. And thank y'all again for joining. I couldn't do it without y'all. Sorry for the brief delays in the stream where it went down a couple times. I don't know what happened. But of course, the entire thing is recorded on my stream deck right there. That ain't going to be off the internet. That ain't going to be shut down by Susan Wojcicki or whatever from YouTube.com. So that'll be uploaded to all the audio streaming platforms tonight, and it'll be available at 8 a.m. tomorrow morning Eastern time. Let's go ahead and get to the rest of the supers, and we can wrap it on up, put the bowl clean on top. Thank you to JRC1 who says, your opinion on Dave Rubin's two babies news, not a Christian conservative act. Well, I can't really speak from the Christian point of view personally because that's not my thing. But I'm not really a fan of men adopting babies. And really, it's like they had surrogates. I'm not a fan. It is what it is. I have nothing against Rubin, but I'm just not a fan. Period. That's really what it is. And if you guys don't know, Dave Rubin and his husband, they are quote unquote expecting two babies by surrogate because obviously they can't get pregnant. So that's not really a thing I'm into. It is what it is. Thank you to John Medeski who says 10% to China, bro. There you go. Thank you to Samuel for, was that like the fist bump emoji? And thank you to Samuel also for the thumbs up emoji. Thank you to LER 2013 who says, wanted to do a call but got so nervous, been a fan over 2 years, and wonder if you might end up in Timcast. I feel Florida took the right step into bringing parents. We should have that bill not only for K through 3, but also K through 8. Yeah, I'm with you. I agree with you on that. I think the bill extends K through 12, but after 3 is a little bit loosened, but you still got to provide a reason why you doing certain things. Timcast would be great. Shout out to Timcast. I like to be on the show. If if they have me, I go on there and we could talk. Thank you to James Morris for the Emoji donation. Thank you to Kai's Posthumous, who says states must create a NATO for the southern border. Thank you to Forgotten Country, who says, mods, you can't block people. Okay, we're not going to talk about that. Thank you to Kai's Posthumous, who says, what do you think about Germany, Japan rebuilding? I'm not sure what you mean by that. Thank you to Matthew, who says, Trump will be nominated Speaker of the House 2022. Thank you to Seahawks, who says, appreciate you. Thank you to Nicole, who says, Ukraine is guilty of war crimes. Most people should rather have Putin than Biden as president. Hey, I have no arguments on that one. And that will be a wrap here. Thank you all for being here. Shout out to the mods for doing what you do, keeping all the trolls in, checking in line. But that'll be a wrap for me. And until next time, y'all be safe. I'm out. And peace.